And welcome to America's Day at the Races, of course, right here on FS2. Gorgeous evening right now at East Rutherford, New Jersey, Meadowlands Racetrack. Great night for the family to enjoy some terrific racing action throughout the evening and several hours of great racing action coming your way. Chris Griffin soon will be joined by very special guests that are going to take you through the entire evening and all the great action. The Meadowland Pace is going to be the highlighted event a little bit later on in tonight's card. Of course, a big scratch in that race, and we're going to cover all of the great harness action this evening. And of course, don't forget about the Hamiltonian on August 2nd. Today's races on this slate here, races 5 through 11, race 8, 9, 11. We'll have the start of the $100,000 guaranteed pick 4. That'll start in race number 8 and race 9, the Hamiltonian Maturity Trot. And the Meadowlands Pace, the highlighted event tonight, that's going to be race number 11. So we've got a great card here tonight. And today's races, of course, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. Welcoming in the analyst here for this evening, Rob McLennan, New York Racing Association Racing Secretary. And I'm going to adjust my microphone here real quick, Rob, but happy to have you here sitting next to me. 3 hours and some great harness racing action.
Yeah, looking forward to it here, Chris. Looking forward to a big night of harness racing action. It's nice to see everybody enjoying some fun down at the Meadowlands, and looking forward to having a couple of winners. See if we can't have a couple of laughs along the way, and looking forward to it. We'll have some fun. Well,
you're being modest, too, because obviously you see plenty of thoroughbreds in your action, but you do have some experience in the harness world.
Yeah, that's kind of what I grew up with a little bit, Western Canada. It was the winter sport. Yeah. Thoroughbreds in the summer and the harness in the winter, so we did it all, and I've been a lifelong fan, so it's...
And what's better than 2 track announcers, but also, or 1 track announcer too, right?
Yeah, that was 2 months of my career that I'm hoping that there's no videotape of, but if you find it, we're going to have to talk.
Thanks so much for being here, Rob. We're going to cover all the races that we said, races 5 through 11, taking a look at Meadowlands Pace in the field of 9, big scratch, of course, of Blueprint.
Yeah, the defection of Blueprint obviously leaves us with a bit of a wide open race. It actually makes for a very fun betting race. So we're going to see who emerges in the division now that Blueprint not going to have the chance to dash tonight. I think it's interesting, so we're going to be missing him. Madden Oaks probably becomes your favorite coming off the second, where he was defeated by Blueprint in the North America Cup. Kind of a fun event, but it is kind of sad missing Bronny Wren and Blueprint.
All right, we'll see if it's going to be a wide open race, and of course we're not going to do it here alone right here at Saratoga. We're going to throw it to the Meadowlands and trackside Gabe Pruitt, and of course Jessica Otten. Great to see you guys right here a little bit north of you, but should be a great night. Big scratch, of course, but plenty of action going on.
Oh, I couldn't agree more with you, Chris. Definitely a big night of racing on tap. From top to bottom, we have you covered. Wagering-wise, horse flesh-wise, and of course the humans as well. We're going to see the overflow field of 13 for the 4-year-olds and the Hamiltonian maturity, the older pacers as well. I'm looking forward to the rematch, I guess you could say, Gabe, between Twin Bee Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover.
Yeah, of course, Twin Bee Joe Fresh, last year's horse of the year, Jess, but upset by Sylvia Hanover. They get to renew that rivalry tonight. Twin Bee Joe Fresh has the best of the post. She'll start from the inside. Sylvia Hanover will have to do it from post number 9.
Yeah, it's an interesting. You know, we saw them at the 3-year-old season kind of trade blows a little bit. Obviously, Twin Bee Joe Fresh was much the best last year, so maybe we're going to start that rival again.
I think so, because take nothing away from Sylvia Hanover. She was very good last time out, and she was even good in a runner-up in Canada prior to that. Twin Bee Joe Fresh. Those two, are the headliners in that event. It's a tough group. They're not in alone, but certainly going to take all the action and all of the attention a bit later here tonight.
Couldn't agree more with you there. Big headline, of course. They already touched on it a little bit. Blueprint being scratched. The 2024 Dan Pash Award winner and the Breeders' Crown champ as well. We're going to see that stretch run between Blueprint and Madden Oaks in that North America Cup final. Gabe, I was hoping for a rematch again against here, and I'm a little biased. I was so happy and proud of both of those Michigan boys finishing 1-2. Nice exacta price as well.
A huge exacta price, and that was all due to Madden Oaks there from post hit. How about this, Jess? He was 53-1 here in the $1 Million Pepsi North America Cup. You see him trying to slide up to the inside there and snatch that lead away from Blueprint. Ultimately, Blueprint would lunge back late and fend him off. Tonight, he's the morning line favorite. That shows you how much things can change in the sport of harness racing here in just a couple of weeks. The bad news for Madden Oaks, you'll have to do it tonight from that outside post again, post number 9. But it was a bit unfortunate. Blueprint had a procedure done. I think he's just going to be out a couple of months. So it's not career-altering or anything like that. He'll be back and better than ever, I'm quite certain. But a little bit of a bummer for the connections that he's not here on one of the biggest stages in the sport.
Yeah, good news is, too, Gabe, that he could be back as soon as middle of August. They're going to let the horse tell him. It's not going to infect or, maybe further stud duties either, so that's great news as well. I just think it makes for much more of a wide open event with the scratch of him. So very much looking forward to that, and looking forward to bringing you guys all of the action live on site from the Big M. We'll send it back to you guys.
Great team on hand here. Thanks, Gabe. Thanks, Jess. And of course, all the great racing action here this evening. We're going to talk about race number 5 in just a moment. But first, got to make sure that you get involved in all the great racing action. Of course, you can bet any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Naira Bets. You can sign up today and get a $200 deposit match bonus with that promo code SPA200. That's the promo code SPA200. Enjoy betting over 300 tracks around the world and start winning today. You can join right now at nairabets.com. Right up on race number 5, and race number 5 is going to be $142,200 there. It's a 1 mile trot, and going to take a look at the field in just a moment, but a big full field here of 11 going into this race.
Yeah, wide open group of fillies, one of 2 divisions here at the Del Miller. We'll see what Yo Tilly does. She's going to be the overwhelming favorite here. It's going to be her, or if you want to get aggressive against her, we'll see what happens. She's kind of the conversation.
Before
here.
we start diving into some of the handicap, and we'll go through the post break, but are you looking for prices? You want the mid-range price?
Maybe not here, a little later on the card, but I think you got to start somewhere.
All right, here's the one, Kadena, that went by the 2 Best Friends Girl.
Best Friends Girl looking to come back with a win. Sound Judgment, bit of a price here, 35 to 1.
There's the 3 Sound Judgment, of course, and then the 4 will be coming up here. Champagne Problems. Dexter Dunn, one of the top drivers.
Yeah, had a good trip last time. Was actually doing a little bit of pacing in behind, or trotting, sorry, in behind Yo Tilly.
And there is going to be the 5. You'll see a lot of long shots here tonight. There's Our Charm.
Our Charm, going to be a bit of a price here, 51 to 1, coming off the win in the condition ranks.
The 6 will be coming up. Deja Blue, getting some respect here at 7 to 1.
Thought she was interesting, coming out of a real scrambly finish in one of the divisions of the Reynolds. I thought she was a bit of a player here.
Another one taking action here. Lady Landia is going to be the number 7.
For good reason. This is your Breeders' Crown Trot winner from last year. She's making her comeback a little bit late to her best races might be in front of her, but she's dangerous.
All right, and there is the big favorite here, 4 to 5, maybe even shorter. That's Yo Tilly.
Yeah, I suspect she probably goes down from here. This is the horse to beat, though, and the board's showing that.
And then here's going to be Scotty Z aboard the number 9.
Another one that was in that scrambly finish with Deja Blue. She's a bit of a live long shot.
Okay. Then we got 2 more towards the outside. We got the 10 here, a huge number, 73 to 1, RCC.
Yeah, she would be a bit of a shocker here, but see she work out a trip.
All right, and then the 11's going to round things out. Walsby Smedshammer. Tron Smedshammer here, the driving duties.
Does start from the trailing position, and we'll see what she can do. Does come off a win in the condition ranks at Philly, and so coming off a good effort.
All right, we got a field of 11 going in this 1 mile trot. Of course, for the fillies, and a nice purse. You're going to see nice purses throughout the evening. But Yo Tilly, a 4 to 5 price. Do you feel like that is the price that she should absolutely be going into the 5th race?
Yeah, they're going right to the gate here. I think she's super live in here. Not a Hambo Oaks eligible filly, so this is a really big dance date on her card. So I think that you're going to get a top effort tonight.
Right up on post time. Jess, Gabe, quick thoughts here going into tonight's 5th.
I definitely think it's hard to beat Yo Tilly, Gabe. She's not Hamiltonian Oaks eligible. That's the storyline in here. So I think they're just going to leave it all on the table.
Yeah, I think so. It's a little bit, maybe more her Super Bowl, at least for this time of the year, than some of the others that are pointing towards that $500,000 Hamiltonian Oaks, Jess. Harness racing a little bit different than thoroughbred racing. If you ask why she's not eligible, you have to make sustaining payments when horses are young, even as early as a yearling. You have to make a payment, then a couple more payments at 2. The original owner of the 8 Yo Tilly did not make those payments. She was a private purchase after her 2-year-old season where she made over $300,000. The new connections would love to be the Hamiltonian Oaks, but unfortunately, she's not eligible.
All right, race number 5, the first division of the Del Miller for those 3-year-old trotting fillies. Plenty of Hamiltonian Oaks eligibles behind the gate. Hall of Fame announcer Ken Workington has the call.
5 to 1 on the 4. Champagne Problems. They're ready for a start. Race 5. Here they come. And they are off. Yo Tilly from the outside left alertly. So did Deja Blue and Champagne Problems and Sound Judgment on the inside. Sound Judgment, Champagne Problems, and Deja Blue is 3 deep in driving on the outside. Kadena gets away well in heavy traffic. Best Friends Girl is 4th, now 3rd and gaining. So Kadena back to 5th, now 4th on the inside. Deja Blue is 5th and gaining. Second here, Walsby 6th on the inside. Stride for stride with Yo Tilly now going up into that lively flow. Followed by Delaney Hanover from the rear of the field. Then it's Our Charm and Lady Landia, and the trailer is RCC. 27 flat across the backstretch, 2 wide. Best Friends Girl meets up with Deja Blue on the outside. Champagne Problems 3rd now and gaining quickly is Yo Tilly. Was 4th, now 3rd on the outside. At the half, Delaney Hanover now gains from 5th. A shuffle for Sound Judgment on the inside 6. Walsby 7th on the outside into the flow. Then it's Cadena. Cadena is followed on the outside by R Charm. From the rear of the field comes Landia. Shuffle to the rear was Cadena now. And still trailing is RCC. The half was 55-1. They're on the far turn. And it's Yo Tilly in front. Delaney Hanover's been parked and goes after her on the outside, but is spinning her wheels now. As Yo Tilly turns it on. Is getting away from Deja Blue on the inside of Holt second. Delaney Hanover on the outside third. It's Walsby fourth and coming 3 deep on the outside. Then Best Friends Girl, 1:23.3 into the stretch drive. And it's Yo Tilly at 1-9 running up the score. Yo Tilly by about 5 or 6 got good separation. Walsby looking for second down the center. And some late trot from Lady Landia from way, way back. But she's all alone, a standout tonight. Yo Tilly, a trotting display here with Todd McCarthy. Yo Tilly, Lady Landia was brilliant to get second. And then it was Walsby and our charm 1:51.
And there was track announcer Ken Workington bringing Yo Tilly home there. Dominant effort at 1-9, Rob.
Yeah, that's what a 1-9 shot's supposed to look like. That was quite a comfortable victory there for McCarthy.
You didn't like her too much early, we're kind of looking at her spot early, but once she got in the clear, you felt like she was going to be very strong.
Yeah, it took a minute to kind of settle going down the backstride, and then it was all over from there.
Gabe, what do you think? Your thoughts there, Yo Tilly. You kind of were telling us before the show that this was kind of her dance right here tonight. She was ultra impressive.
Yeah, she has plenty of dances, of course, after the Hamiltonian Oaks, but I know the Connections obviously wanted to, make a statement tonight, and they most certainly did with Yo Tilly. She's now 3 for 3 here for the new Connections guys, and you saw so many lead changes. As Rob just alluded to, we had 4 or 5 lead changes here early until the favorite ultimately landed on top. She was caught wide there around that opening turn and even past the 3/8 mark, but it made simply no difference. This is just an easy win. Also, the horse we need to watch out here is last year's Breeders' Crown champion, Lady Landia, who was very game from far back there. That's exactly what you'd like to see at a sophomore debut. She stayed off the pace, finished up very confidently. I think that she will be one to watch going forward, including at that Hamiltonian Oaks.
Thank you very much, Gabe. And Yo Tilly, and you were saying the same thing, Rob. You guys are seeing the race kind of from the same lens right now because Lady Landy, you noticed her making that big move into second. Walsby ran a good race at a huge number, maybe if you were rooting for that exacta, but that should set up the 7 for a nice effort next time out.
Yeah, you think she'd take another step forward, and she'll be a major player at the Hamiltonian Oaks and all summer, really. She's supposed to be at the head of this division, and she'll get another chance at Yo Tilly here at some point.
Not going to have a 1-9 favorite in front of her, maybe. Looking forward to that race. But, Gabe, I'll go back to you real quick before we get some of the interviews. And just how impressive is Yo Tilly been? You talk about the 3 for 3, but is she just kind of a class above the rest right now in your eyes as far as this division is concerned?
Well, these were the best right here tonight, so I'd have to say yes in that, Chris. The one that I do think is going to step forward is the runner-up here, Lady Landia. She'll be much more aggressively handled when she gets a little bit of a foundation under her. But interesting note here from this race, guys. You talk about a little bit of a bargain, Yo Tilly. This is an 11-horse field. 10 of these fillies sold at public auction. One a homebred, the 6 Deja Blue. But Yo Tilly was a $25,000 yearling purchase. I mean, most of the others are 6 figures, including the one Cadena that was an $800,000 buy. So she was the bargain buy of the field, but she was not a bargain anymore in terms of price. I know the new Connections had to spend a good amount to get her in the barn.
Jess Otten, she's got the winning Connections right now, trackside.
Equals her lifetime mark. Talk us through the trip a little bit there. You didn't see a pylon until just by the half.
Yeah, we were out there a while, Jess. Everyone was kind of working through the motions there, and we were in the flow. I was confident that we were going to land on top, by the half or after it, but just didn't know how much we were going to have to do to get there. But no, full credit to her. She's got so much depth, this filly, and she just kept trucking all the way to the wire.
Looked like she was geared down at the wire.
Yeah, like she, I kind of eased up on her late. I could see on the big screen there that we had a little bit of distance on the others there. I kind of just let her slow down a little and save a little bit of her energy for next race.
Nice job. Quick question, Captain Albano, middle of the pack draw tonight in against the older ones. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, it's a much better spot for him there tonight than the previous week. So I'm sure hopefully we can be a little closer to the rail than we were last start. But no, I'm looking forward to getting behind him again, and should be a good race.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Jess. Appreciate it.
Yo Tilly takes the first division of the Del Miller Memorial, equaling her lifetime mark, 151. Back to you guys.
Winner in dominant fashion here to kick things off on our coverage here on FS2, as we've seen a fantastic start and maybe a fantastic superstar there in Yotilli.
Yeah, that's a tremendous performance. We'll see. We'll get a measuring stick because the next division's coming right up. We'll see how 151 stacks up.
Looking forward to seeing what those times are going to be throughout the evening. Maybe get a little higher price than some of those 1 to 9 favorites. But race number 8 later on, we've got the Dorothy Haught Memorial. And of course, that's going to highlight the Queen. But does the Queen have some competition? That's Twin B Joe Fresh, and she's coming up a little bit later on. Come on back to America's Day at the Races.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, Naira Bets. Brought to you in part by Naira Bets. It's bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Visit NairaBets.com or download the Naira Bets app to get started. Gorgeous night once again there at the Meadowlands, and we saw a dominant performance there from Yotilli. They've been visiting the winner's circle quite a bit. Short price favorite, and going back to the replay, I mean, Rob, you and I were talking about on the backside, you know, she got position, and then you see her spot highlighted here. It's pretty much over at this point.
Yeah, she's won her race already, and the battles for the minor placings at this point, but McCarthy did everything he needed to on her and used her up enough early that she didn't have to do a whole lot of work late. And you do see the filly finishing up for second here, Lady Landia. She's the one to watch going forward, but she's also the obvious one. Maybe some other things to look forward to, though.
And then the 11, Wall Speed, cleans up that trifecta, but it started from the second tier. So is that something to kind of keep an eye on as far as where those horses are going to start in those outer positions?
Yeah, it certainly can be a little bit of a tricky thing to navigate, but sometimes you can catch a little bit of the flyer. She didn't actually work out too bad of a trip, but she did just get a little leg weary late, and Lady Landia did go by her, but I thought it was a pretty good effort at 65 to 1, juicing up that exotics a little bit.
Yeah, if you have a 1 to 9 on top, you want to catch a few prices in there in some of your exotics. But a nice race there. I think we're not going to see as many dominating efforts. We're going to see some closer races, but that was an impressive effort there. Coming up, the Del Miller Memorial, of course, and it's the Philly Trotters going 1 mile. And taking a look at this field, doesn't seem to be as big a standout right now. What a bit Hanover is your current 9 to 5 favorite.
Yeah, and I think this will be a much closer race on the wagering side. And some fillies coming out of some similar races. The 2 fillies out of the Zwick up at Vernon, Teresi and What a Bit Hanover. They had a great stretch duel. So looking forward to 2 of them coming back together. And then Conversano from the outside is going to be the one that she won the one half of the Reynolds last week. But it's interesting, the fillies out of the Reynolds that were in the first half really weren't much of a factor.
And I know who your selection is in here, and I think you're going to be giving us a little bit of value in this race coming up, huh?
Yeah, if this holds on, I'm thinking I'm going right to the inside and see if I can't go all the way.
All right. We'll find out what's going to happen more later on in the card. And, of course, we're going to be talking about some of our other pacers and trotters this evening. And there's another one, Captain Optimistic. He'll be running a little bit later on this evening. He's looking a little bit calm right now. But you guys come on back, and we're going to see if he can get it with Dexter Dunn.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you are looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
Ever dreamed of owning a racehorse? Well, now you can for free. Introducing freeracehorse.com, where you get a real share in a real racehorse at no cost. Be part of the action. Get VIP access to training, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and experience the thrill of the race like never before. Sign up now at freeracehorse.com and claim your free ownership share today. Don't just watch the race, own it.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest priced horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and stallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit rtn.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
It's Legendary Hanover, 1:20-2 in the stretch of the Meadowlands pace. Legendary Hanover striding clear by 2, now 3. He's getting separation on Captain Luke and Gem Quality. Nijinsky not tonight. Legendary Hanover and James McDonald win the Meadowlands pace.
There was 2024 Meadowlands Pace winner, Legendary Hanover, a dominating performance, and at that point, Rob, you're all smiles because you know you're there. You're home.
He was very impressive last year. We'll have to see if somebody can duplicate that effort from last year. That's a big set of shoes to fill, though, because he was great.
Yeah, you see that big cavalry charge in behind, and once you do get to the front and you're kind of trying to open up on the field, you do see some of those closers coming. Do you see that it's going to be a very closer finish here this year?
I think it's a really interesting race because there's lots of early speed signed on, and if we get a real fast early pace, we could have a real scramble when they turn for home. That would make it a real fun stretch drive, and I'm glad it's Ken calling and not one of us.
Yeah, it's going to be anxious moments there for the bettors if it is going to be one of those like blanket type finishes there at the wire. Jess and Gabe, you guys are right there close to the action, and this edition tonight of the 2025 Meadowlands Pace. Kind of your thoughts, and looking back at last year's Legendary Hanover, could we see a performance like that, or are we looking at a real tight bunch?
I think it's going to be another tight bunch. I don't know if we're going to see a horse draw away like that. I mean, I could be wrong, Gabe, for sure. I remember catching up with James McDonald last year after that Meadowlands Space victory. He said, that was the last spot I wanted to be in. I said, are you sure? Because he made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, it was a handy win, and I am taking by far the under on that win margin. I think this one could come down to, less than a length, guys. Unless it just has a breakout performance here that we do not see coming, quite frankly. This is a very evenly balanced field. A lot of times in harness racing, some of the top-level stakes, you see horses start to separate themselves. That is just not the case. I think you could really make a case for any number of these in this feature here tonight, but I do think it's going to be a tight pack when they turn for home and throughout that stretch drive.
With the scratch of Blueprint, multiple drivers and trainers have been quoted saying it makes it a more wide-open event, and it makes a lot of us think that we have a shot of winning. Here's Madden Oaks' most recent effort at Tioga Downs, his home track, getting the job done on the front end. I caught up with Braxton Boyd earlier on in the week. He said it was a perfect trip you could have imagined. It was a perfect prep race that we could have asked for. He's ready to rock. The only thing about tonight is, Gabe, Post 9 only has 2 wins out of 48 starts in the Meadowlands Space. That was in 2000 with Gallo Bleachip and American Theory in 2003.
Yeah, not the best starting spots, but hey, they say that's just where you start. He's going to be pointing
right,
forward
exactly.
off the gate, Jess.
And to piggyback off of that, Gabe, I think they're all going to be forwardly placed off the gate. Scott Zeron is very confident in Manolette being forwardly placed off of the gate, but we'll get to the field in depth a little bit later on. We're going to hear from Cameron Capone, another 25-year-old with an opportunity. He trains Madden Oaks, and he's in the paddock right now with Paul.
Standing by here with Chris Capone, trainer of the morning line favorite for the Meadowlands Pace tonight in Madden Oaks. Chris, this has to be the pinnacle for you. This has got to be like the ultimate feeling right now.
Yeah, even growing up here, it's really means a lot to be here tonight, and I just really hope the horse can give it all he's got.
So this horse has grown exponentially this past year. What do you attest that to, and just how well he's been running this year?
He needed the time off at the end of last year. It's come back really good, and it's really worked out to be good. Yeah.
So he runs the big race in the Pepsi North America Cup. Then, there's a couple of races in him. You prepped last week at Tioga. Did you get everything you wanted out of that mile from him?
Yeah, we wanted to just get him an easy mile, put him on the front, see where he can go, and do it easy. And that's really where we wanted to be, 52, 51, somewhere in there with a good last quarter, and it all worked out great.
Race strategy tonight. The post gods, they haven't been kind the last couple of races, to big money races, that is. So what's the plan for tonight?
I leave that up to Braxton, because if the inside guys want to fire, then we'll try to play it easy, and if they don't fire, then we'll do what we did in the North American Cup. So,
what's this going to mean for you and your team if you can get the job done tonight?
It would be awesome. Like I said, we grew. My dad raced horses here when I was little, and now I'm filling in the spot, and it would be really cool. It would be really awesome. It would mean a lot.
Be a big story tonight, guys, if Chris and the team can get this done with Madden Oaks. Young guns tonight makes me feel young at heart. Chris, good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much there, Paul. Is looking at the connections. Yeah, everybody's getting younger tonight. I thought you were young, and now 25 years old. We're just finding all the young talent here that is really showcasing on this great evening. But this is a race also with a lot of great little factoids, right? Like a lot of experience. You're the history buff, of course, knowing all these little fun facts. Luckily, we have a graphic that's going to show us exactly those fun facts. But the driver with the most wins, of course, John Campbell. Very well known. And then you see trainer with the most wins, Brett Pelling. A legendary Hanover, the stakes record we just saw in 2024. Winning his post being post number 5. Do you like post number 5? Captain Optimistic?
Yeah, nothing to complain about there.
Youngest winning driver was Montreal Teague at 24 in 2015 with Wiggle It, Jiggle It. And then Cat Manzi, the oldest winning driver at 56 years old.
That's a number 2 as well. And Montreal Teague had quite a partner there with Wiggle It and Jiggle It.
The oldest winning driver being 56, the youngest being 24. Still got time for both of us. I can't drive. I can't drive in any of these races. We got race number 6 coming up. We're right up on post parade time, getting ready for a nice sequence here. There is the one, Teresi.
Yeah, I think this is my pick. She was awesome in the Zwig. Battle back. I think she's got a real big shot here.
Big long shot there, 25-1. The 2, Our Lady W. The number 3 will be coming up right after this one. It's going to be a perfect Annie. I was trying to time it up well, but any thoughts on the 2 there at a big price?
She's got to get back on track. She made a break last time. We'll see if she can't get back on gate.
All right, Todd McCarthy here is going to have the driving duties. You saw a perfect Annie was coming out of the paddock. There's the 4. Gugu got us a big price.
Yeah, another one that needs to step it up. She was a big price last time against a number of these.
There's your current favorite, What a Bit Hanover, at 7-5.
She was beaten last time by Teresi, but she's a big shot here. She's a deserving favorite.
Dave Miller is going to have the number 6, 31-1 Grand Reserve.
Couple of good second-place efforts at short prices, but stepping up.
Dexter Dunn, Luna Lovegood, 10-1 mid-range price.
This was your favorite last year in the Breeders' Crown. She made a break, trying to get back on track in her 3-year-old year.
Tim Tetrick will be on the current second choice at 5-2, our Duchess.
Taking lots of money, a good second last time in that scrambly division of the Reynolds. Think she's live.
Bogish, the 9.
Another one looking to get back on stride here. Jason Bartlett in the bike.
Okay, then Conversano is going to be the to the outside, the trotter to the outside. That's going to be 6-1 on the 10.
Yeah, she's a little cold on the board. That 10 post is a little scary, but she's got back-to-back wins, including in the Rich New Jersey Sire Stakes final. A couple of good efforts. It's hard to knock her.
Yeah, do you look at a 3-1 shot like that and you see the price floating up to 7-1? You feel like that's cold on the board?
A little bit, yeah. Like if she's going to sit there, like she's on form. Got a pretty live shot, and I think she's going to be aggressively driven from the outside.
All right, we'll see what's going to happen with some of those prices that are floating up right now, but the price is coming down on the 5. What a Bit Hanover. Gabe and Jess with plenty more here as we get set for the Del Miller Memorial. 3-year-old fillies here in this trot.
Plenty more Hamiltonian Oaks eligibles here, Gabe. And I think the question mark in the field is Conversano from Post 10. She's been sharp all season. I think she's going to have her toughest task here tonight. You can see on the board the 6-5 favorite right now. Your top choice. We all know you're a big fan of What a Bit Hanover. She has found the winner's circle once this season. It looked like she got a little lost in that New Jersey Sire Stake final. She fought gamely last time out in the Zweg and against Teresi, who gets the rail to work with. She's got a perfect middle pack pose now. What does Aki got to do to win this race?
Well, I think I see just a tremendous amount of early speed in this race, Jess. And the one thing that you mentioned, the 10 Conversano, who's 5 out of 6 this year, she is an early speed. That's typically her weapon of choice. I think she is going to absolutely blast from that outside post, but there's a lot of early speed inside of her here, too. So I think there's going to be a very lively tempo. I could see this field down to the half, maybe 54 seconds or so. If that's the case, I think it's going to set things up for the closers. And at the head of that would be the 5 What a Bit Hanover. I think that he will race her off the pace tonight from a mid-pack post here, as you said. I think he gets set off and not be too far back. The other horse that has a lot of good late speed and a good closing kick is the 8 Our Duchess. So those are the two that I honed in on here. I'm a little shocked at the wagering. What a Bit Hanover was 9-2 in the morning line, now 6-5 on the board. So, that's a little short for my liking. Vice versa, the 10 Conversano, again, who's been red hot this year, she was the morning line favorite at 3-1. She's up there at 7-1 right now. So the wagering a little tricky here, at least in the early stages, as we get set for post for race 6.
Usually we see horses that take a lot of action on the tote board be forwardly placed off the gate. What a Bit Hanover has not really shown us any sort of gate speed, Gabe. A couple of times she's had the rail. It's almost just like she floated out of there to protect position, but she was out sprinted.
Yeah, and she's been carefully managed throughout her career,
right.
Jess. Just 7 starts at the age of 2 last year. She made nearly $300,000, but even to the Breeders' Crown, she got away 10th in that field. So she's been raced from off the pace, most of her career there, except when she's just been in an overwhelming spot where she's tons of best. I could see the same thing tonight. Beaten last out there at Vernon, this wide, but a horse broke stride in front of her. So she had to check up there briefly, lose a little bit of her momentum. So I thought that may have cost her. She was only beating a neck at the end of the day. 3 starts now under her belt. Standardbreds, they like to get those starts. They like to get that fitness and foundation back. So I think, she could be sitting on maybe her biggest and best race of the year tonight. But it's a little bit of a crapshoot how this one lines up. I see a lot of early speed and headlining that I think is going to be the 10 Conversano. I think she's going to be first to the party from that extreme outside post.
She's definitely one of the sharpest horses coming into the race. Post 10 Conversano, you're getting a nice price, 6-1 right now on her. Can she continue that winning streak? We'll find out. 3-2 favorite right now on the 5. The Aki Sponset, trained and driven. What a Bit Hanover. Ken Workington, Hall of Fame announcer, has your call.
On the 20-cent pick 6. 3-2 on the 5. What a Bit Hanover. 5-2 on the 8. Our Duchess. At 5-1 the 1, Teresi. 6-1, 10 Conversano. On gate race 6, here they come. And the fillies are off and trotting. Our Duchess from the outside, Conversano blasting off. There goes a perfect Annie, is zipping right out there with Teresi on the inside. Second now into the first turn. What a Bit Hanover is third. And now our Duchess goes up fourth on the outside as they continue towards the opening quarter. Luna Lovegood made an early break. It's Our Lady W on the inside, fifth past the quarter, followed by Conversano, sixth on the inside. Then it's Goo Goo Goddess, followed by Grand Reserve and Vogish. After the break, far back is Luna Lovegood. 27-4 for that first quarter, and Our Duchess strides clear. Our Duchess and Tim Tetrick taking over. A Perfect Annie now trotting in second. Teresi is an anxious third. What a Bit Hanover tracks the speed from fourth. Our Lady W fifth past the half. Then it's Conversano sixth on the inside with Goo Goo Goddess to the outside. Grand Reserve gets underway. Then on the inside as they trot past the half, it's Vogish. And the half was 56-2, and trying to catch the rear of the field. Luna Lovegood, 3/8 to go in the final turn. It's Our Duchess, strong by a length and a half. Stalked by A Perfect Annie on the inside second. Teresi stayed in third. What a Bit Hanover to the outside fourth. That one tracked by Conversano second over, and fifth on the outside, 4.5, 5 to make up, and tipping 3 deep. Our Lady W was shuffled back. Trying to get away from them. Our Duchess at 7-2 here, 124-2. It's Our Duchess. What a Bit Hanover on the outside. Uncorks a rally for Åke Svanstedt. And watch for Conversano. She is full of trot and coming on. Digging in. Our Duchess. What a Bit Hanover. Good duel to the wire. What a Bit Hanover prevails. What a Bit Hanover at 3-5. Then Our Duchess. Conversano off stride. Our Lady W. Then Teresi. 151-4.
And it was What a Bit Hanover. Åke Svanstedt getting the job done there, and the favorite gets it done. We talked about some closer finishes throughout the evening. There was a lot going in that race, but the favorite ends up prevailing.
Yeah, it's the horse we all kind of thought had the biggest chance to win, but it was definitely not how you were going to draw it up if you were going to draw it out before the race.
Yeah, you have to make those decisions in the race, and Åke Svanstedt did make that decision and was kind of leading that second group on the outside there. Just ran down her rival in the lane and really just maybe a little bit better in that spot.
Yeah, I thought that was a good first over push. She did a lot of work to get there. Our Duchess goes a long way on the front end, a filly that we thought actually would be one with good closing kick. So it was kind of one of those opposite races, but a close finish, and 3 fillies, 1, 2, 3, that all have big steps
I'm here,
forward.
Josh, if you need me.
Very good. Yeah, one big, those top 3, you're going to see them come back once again. But Gabe, your thoughts, your trackside, and what do you think from that 6th race that we just saw?
Well, one thing about it, guys, the pace scenario was not near as live as I thought it was going to be. One thing about it, the drivers, they all look at the same program that we do. So when you see a tremendous amount of early speed, sometimes everyone's a little cautious because they know if they leave out of there, it could be quite the toll to try to make the lead. I think that was the case here in this race tonight. Tim Tetrick driving the 8 Our Duchess, he sensed that little bit of a moderate type pace. He actually made a very good move there. Middle of that race to take over the lead, took all the best of it, but ultimately could just not fend off What a Bit Hanover, who was very good tonight. She just came up there in quite the stretch battle between those two. Conversano, horse that tried to lead there, she ducked early as well, and she got to follow the eventual winner. She had a nice trip, but third best in this spot tonight. They crossed the line, guys, 5-8, 10-2. We do have an inquiry up. It's going to concern the 4th place finisher. That's number 2, Our Lady W. She lost her stride. She was on the gallop across the line, so the judges are taking a look at that. It will not affect the top 3 finishers.
Gabe, I'm going to come right back to you here with a quick question. Taking a look at the top 3 and taking a look at the race, can you change up your tactics? Do you see that sometimes from some of the drivers because they may be looking at races down in the future and to set them up? So if you change those tactics against, you talk about Our Duchess versus What a Bit Hanover, that just to try and see maybe if we try something a little bit different, it's going to work better, and that'll set us up for a bigger prize down the road.
Yeah, there's no question, Chris, because as drivers, they're the same as us handicappers. They try to envision how a race is going to go, how a race is going to line up. So not only over the course of the season could you change tactics, based on how a horse is performing, but I think even, as the race starts, you have your plan A. Sometimes you have to go on down to plan B, C, or past that, depending on how things are going. So I think that the great drivers all had that in their arsenal to switch things up, do what they need to do to get the absolute very best performance from each and every starter they sit behind. So Jess Godden's trackside, she's going to catch up with winning trainer driver Åke Svanstedt.
Standing by with winning driver trainer Åke Svanstedt. What a nice filly you have on your hands, Åke. She's really grown up from 2 to 3.
Yeah, she has. She's little quicker. She can leave. Last year she couldn't leave anything, but this year she can leave.
Yes, on the program page, you see you had taken her off there off the gate quite a bit. Tonight you had to come first over. She looked very strong in hand.
Yeah, she was strong, and Yeah, she fight to win.
She's a Hamiltonian Oaks eligible. You have to be excited for that first Saturday in August.
Yes, she's eligible. Of course, I'm excited for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you have it. What a bit. Hanover takes the second Dell Miller Memorial Division 151-4. A nice effort there by What a bit Hanover. The Aki Svanstead trainee gets the job done. Back to you guys.
Aki Svanstead getting the job done, of course, as you just heard. Thank you very much, Jess. And we've still got plenty more coming up. There's Captain Albano. Looking forward to Todd McCarthy driving Captain Albano in today's 7th race. Plenty more. Come on back. America's Day at the Races on FS2.
Whether you maintain a food plot on the weekends, tend to a small herd of livestock, or work in professional landscaping, New Holland's family of Workmaster and Boomer compact tractors at Clinton Tractor can get the job done. Known for delivering outstanding value for their performance, these reliable, powerful, and easy to operate New Holland compact tractors will help you tackle your to-do list while being easy on your wallet.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Getting a beautiful shot there of the grandstand area there at the Meadowlands, and that's right near the paddock. I've been in that area there before, hanging out in the paddock, and can't keep talking about thoroughbreds, but I have been out there for some of the thoroughbred racing action. But we got great harness racing action and a winner's circle. Of course, talk about the number 5 in there in What a Bit Hanover, and another impressive effort. We saw another time that was not lightning fast, but just looks like a fair racetrack, and a good solid win here.
Yeah, no, she was very workmanlike. The pace wasn't as hot early, so going 4/5 of a second behind Yo Tilly is explainable, but she did everything Aki asked of her, and she gets the money and she gets the winner's circle photo, and that was a good effort.
And talking about the 10-2 Conversano, we were talking off-air just a second ago that she tried pretty well here in this race.
Yeah, yes, she had a nice trip once they got into it, but that around the first turn, leaving from post 10, she had a bit of a rough go of it. Once she got in and settled, she actually did a good amount of trot.
Yeah, a lot of notes you got to take and a lot of charts, everything you got to watch the replays and get set for some of these races where you can try and get a score. We saw another favorite get the job done, this one at 3-5, and What a Bit Hanover. Tough effort, just got by our Duchess, but the 3 logical choices did end up in your trifecta there in race number 6. Race number 7 is going to be coming up, and a lot more familiar names, and Captain Albano is one that does stand out. Currently even money off of an 8-1 morning line.
Yeah, wasn't really expecting him to show up like that, but there's a pretty wide open group of older boys who've done a lot of winning in their years, so we'll see what happens. Captain Albano, maybe not the horse I'd love at even money, but I thought he was very interesting off a poor effort last week. Pretty wide open race, though. You can go 5 or 6 different ways here.
Yeah, and closers. We've seen some closers and these types of paces, and especially when you take a look at Coach Stefano, some of these pacers that they need a lot of pace in front of them. Are we going to get that here this evening?
We'll have to see. Coach Stefano certainly got it last week. We'll see if he gets it again this week. And if he gets it this week, he's really tough. He's last year's Breeders' Crown winner. He comes with that furious late kick when he gets his way. So if they give it to him, he's going to be really tough to beat. But it is just a matter of setup. And he's got some boys in here that can do some serious efforts against him. So it's not like he's in a race that he can really beat up on. So I think it's a pretty wide open race. Coach Stefanos is going to have to come with his best effort.
Yeah, we got quite a few pacers that are very familiar with one another, and of course we've got August 2nd with the Hamiltonian. Of course, we can't stop talking about the Hamiltonian, but that is going to be a premier event. Looking at last year and a look ahead to the 100th Hamiltonian.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Monmouth Park summer season rolls on with live racing action every Friday to Sunday. Our 50-day summer season features a stakes race every Saturday and Sunday, plus a new middle pick 5, joining the win early pick 5 on our wagering menu. With growing pools and field sizes, Monmouth Park is summer's best bet. Joining us on site, lock in your odds with fixed odds wagering at Monmouth Park Racetrack.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
And Carl is third on the outside. 6 Sauer needs some racing room. They turn home off 3/4 in 1:22 and 4 into the stretch of the Hamiltonian. Highland Kismet, big effort first over. TCI's trying to battle back. And right there is Carl on the outside with a late lunge. Highland Kismet, Carl on the outside, a final surge. Carl, Yannick Gingras, and Nancy Tactor. He's king of the Hamiltonian.
Carl was king there. Taking a look at last year's Hamiltonian. Of course, the 100th will be coming up, but Yannick Gingras getting the job done there for Nancy Tactor, and some very familiar connections, a very familiar horse, and a little bit rainy weather, but Carl got the job done here, and the winner circle presentation never gets old.
No, this was a great win in the Hamiltonian, and I thought you were going to say it was some familiar weather too, but what a tremendous effort there by Carl and Yannick Gingras, the Tactor barn. Going to be looking to do it again. I think that was a pretty impressive effort in a monsoon there.
Yeah, a little bit of rain there that day for the Hamiltonian winner, Carl. And we've got the Hamiltonian coming up on August 2nd, so there's plenty coming up and plenty of top contenders. And Gabe and Jess, you follow them throughout the season very, very closely, and I know we've got some rankings coming up that we'll talk about, but going into this 100th Hamiltonian, who's really kind of stepping forward, and maybe even somebody that we saw tonight?
Well, Chris, I'll tell you, it wasn't raining a little bit on Hamiltonian Day. It was raining a lot. It was definitely a torrential downpour. But I think it just adds to the dramatic of the day, Gabe. A great race by Carl. Obviously, the storyline there, Yannick finally punching through in the win column for the Hamiltonian. But this year, Gabe, totally different story. I think there's about 3 or 4 horses trading blows at that #1 spot. Nancy Tactor was quoted earlier on in the night and said, I won the last 2 Hamiltonians. I've not won the Stanley Dancer with either one of those. And I think that speaks volumes heading into the eliminations in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, looking ahead to the final. This is one of the last stops on the road to the Hambo.
Yeah, this is really the last major preview race, the couple of divisions we had a bit earlier tonight, Jess. And I don't think there's any headliners you said that really stand out. There's 4 or 5 headliners this year,
right.
A little bit different circumstances. Last year was great. Watching back that footage from last year is much better to watch it tonight when I'm sitting here dry as opposed to last year when we were soaked right on this very set. So cool moment for Carl and all the connections there. But again, earlier tonight we saw some really good trotters. I think moving forward here on the road to the Hamiltonian Trail in a couple of those Stanley Dancer divisions.
Yeah, here's Stanley Dancer Division #1 Super Chapter. Gate to wire here, Gabe. This is Marcus Melander trainee. 150-3 effort. Looked like he was under wraps. I thought Montserrat raced very well behind him.
That's the key thing. Look at driver Dexter Dunn there on the winner on the inside. He's not really chasing him. He's just keeping him to task, I would call it, Jess. So he's really almost geared down. Montserrat was very good there in a runner-up finish. But Super Chapter, I think the margin a bit deceptive. It's going to show a length and a half or so. But he could have won by much, much more. He's part of a powerful 2-pronged attack right now from trainer Marcus Melander.
I think the key to watching some of these races on the road to the Hamiltonian is how they are through the wire. If they're geared down, if they're trotting through and past the wire, and then of course the body language by the driver. Like you had just mentioned there with Dexter, you saw David Miller. He couldn't get those pugs popped very easily. Took him a little bit of time, but I think that the runner-up finisher Montserrat raced very well. And then in the next division, the big question mark was, is Maryland going to get the job done? He wasn't able to prevail. He was the beaten favorite. We'll bring up the stretch run of the second division of the Stanley Dancer Memorial. Maryland moved his way to the front, clearing just at the half. I thought Go Dog Go couldn't have looked any better. He's a perfect 3 for 3 so far this season. Gave 50-4, 26-1, at the end of it. And I thought he was very good in this effort.
You talk about a heavyweight battle, Jess. These are a couple of absolute superstars that just dropped the gloves at the top of the stretch, and they duked it out through the line. Go Dog Go, who was drafted along with that nice trip. I'll concede he did get a little bit better of the trips. He got to draft along there for a long way and just really came out to the outside there to trot the last quarter of a mile. So who knows what would happen if the trips were reversed? That's the key question. In my mind, though, those are the 2 headliners right now. Go Dog Go, Maryland. We saw him hook up tonight. I think we might see another battle to renew that rivalry the first Saturday in August.
I think one thing worth noting as well, Gabe, off of that stretch run is Maryland fought back, and in those last 2 starts that we've seen him, he's been chasing down the horses. So it was a little bit of different tactics tonight. If you're a handicapper out there, I always like seeing those 2 kind of tactics worked into it before a big race.
Yeah, well, Maryland, he's not used to getting past. So he saw a horse on the outside of him. You're right, he did fight back. I mean, he's no slouch. He's the richest 2-year-old trotter in the history of the sport, over $1.2 million. So it was a big step forward for Maryland. But Go Dog Go, I think a little bit more of the Nell horse. I think he and his connections, they'd like to race the Hamiltonian here next week.
I'm extremely excited for that 100th Hamiltonian on Saturday, August 2nd. Lots of headlining stories. We'll talk about our top 5 later on, but for now, we'll send it back to the desk.
Thank you very much, guys. And of course, the Hamiltonian, the 100th Hamiltonian, live from the Meadowlands. Make sure you join us on August 2nd to see all that great Hamiltonian action on Fox. Saturday, August 2nd. We'll find out who's going to win that top prize. And Rob, I think you're seeing some of the separation too in some of these groups. We're seeing some of those top tier horses. The top 3 kind of move away from the rest of the group, and you're starting to see some of the class really, really rise.
Yeah, a couple of separating performances there. I thought it was really interesting, and then you start getting to compare the 2 divisions and trying to put them back together when they get back together again.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Post-parade time here for race number 7, the William Houghton Memorial, and there it was the 1, Becca Bet Hanover, who went by. Here's the 2 at a huge number price.
Yeah, big price there with Trace Tetrick in the bike.
Coach Stefanos is going to be the number 3 here, 5-2.
He comes off a big win. He's going to have to get a pace in front of him, but he's very live. Last year's Breeders' Crown champion.
All right, there is the 4 here coming on our screen. Huge number, 91-1. Blazing home.
He would have to turn it around 91-1 currently.
Okay, warrants that price in today's 7th. Here is the 5, Captain Albano.
They must be lining up at the Meadowlands to bet him off that 8-1 morning line. Rough trip last time. Never did see the inside. Thought he was live here, but not at that price.
Okay, Jordan Stratton there at 39-1 on the 6.
Another one they would have to turn it around. Been off since the end of June. A couple of okay efforts, though.
Andrew McCarthy, Ruthless Hanover.
Another one that's coming off a little bit of a break, looking to get closer to that $1 million mark in career earnings.
A lot of long shots in this race right now, so you can understand the money really coming in on the 5. Here's the 8, Musketeer Hanover.
Here's another one. The win 2 back was good, but last time didn't get away too well, and you can probably cross a line through that. Dave Miller in the bike.
Keep it going here, 7 colors, 25-1.
A good second place effort behind Coach Stefanos at a big number last time.
Hey, surprise, surprise, another long shot. Vukafalis, 25-1.
This is a big price right now. Back-to-back second-place efforts, that 10 post, just a very tough thing to overcome.
And now Dexter Dunn, he does drive the number 11 Sabonis, and at 2-1 right now, getting a lot of respect.
Yeah, he jumps off a Buckabet Hanover to get on Sabonis. Coming off the win in the Graduate, he was awfully impressive last time. Going to start from that trailing spot, but he's taking much-deserved respect at 2-1.
All right, we're going to be taking a look at Sabonis' effort. This is going to be on July 5th, and not that long ago. And taking a look back at this effort and watching the replay and watching Sabonis is going to end up winning. And you take a look at kind of the effort in here. Was there anything that you took from this? Were you as impressed? And maybe this is why Dexter Dunn ends up going this way.
Yeah, he does everything right. He's finishing through the wire here. He's ahead of Captain Luke Nijinsky. Nijinsky, who we saw last year in the Meadowlands space. But Sabonis was great in this effort, holding on, pacing the mile in 1:47.3, stopping that teletimer in a flashy time.
And the other thing to remember, we'll talk about the 11, where the 11 is going to be starting this race from, but here is the number 3 and Coach Stefanos. And if you like closers, if you like some of these horses that come from well off the pace, this is going to be your selection here.
Yeah, this Indiana bred does everything they ask for him, but he makes you hold your breath as he's never going to be in front turning for home, but he comes with that big late closing kick. James McDonald in the bike, and he handles him well. He picked him up in his Breeders' Crown victory. But it was a bit of a tough trip in the Gold Cup. Got back on track last time in one of the divisions of the Brower. They went a fast second quarter in that Brower effort, and he took every advantage of it, finishing full of effort and full of energy through the wire here. I thought this was an ultra impressive performance. He's going to try to make it 2 in a row.
Yeah, big closers do need to work out some of those trips, when they're trying to get the right trip. But Coach Stefanos, he seems to always kind of find the wire first, in some of those blanket finishes.
It is funny. Good horses just find a way to win sometimes. They have that knack to them, and this is what he is, Coach Stefanos, one of those top animals looking for career win number 21.
Captain Albano right now, you take a look at the price, Todd McCarthy, 3-2. That's way too short for you.
Yeah, I liked this horse, and I knew he wasn't going to be 8-1, but I'm thinking he's going to drift up a little bit from here, but he has to bounce back off a defeat last time by Sabonis.
Race number 7, Sabonis. Jess is going to go with the 3, Gabe's with the 3. Talk to us more. They like Coach Stefanos. So, Gabe and Jess, what do you got here trackside?
Well, it is going to be the first time that those 4-year-olds have to step up and face the open company, Gabe. And I think 7-5 is a bit short on Captain Albano. Of course, I do want to mention this is the night and the race that Bulldog Hanover set that stakes track world record, 145-4 back in 2022. What a night that was. And to piggyback off of that, speaking of 4-year-olds, Dexter Dunn, he had his choice of 2 in here. Sabonis from post 11, that's a trailing position, and the one, a Buckabet Hanover, who he's been his primary driver for throughout, the last several seasons.
Yeah, he has. That was a tough choice. And a Buckabet Hanover there post 1, maybe just not quite as sharp. Second here does concern me a little bit with Sabonis. We rolled that replay back. We saw him on the lead. But yes, Jesse, 11 going to the gate here. That tells you what type of firepower we are dealing with in the William Howden Memorial. The fastest mile in the history of harness racing was right here in this stakes race with Bulldog Hanover, as you said a few years ago. So, that, it's just a loaded field. And I'll tell you what else is going to, I think, liven the tempo here. You start a horse in the second tier. That makes some of the outside horses, think about taking an early shot.
Yes.
Because if you duck here in this race, you've got another one there on the inside that's going to get away ahead of you. It just leaves you in a very bad spot. So it's going to be interesting to see how the pace scenario shakes out, I do think the 10, Vukovalis, we're taking a look at, he was a runner-up in this race last year to a Buckabed Hanover, who was the winner in this race last year. I think his hand's going to be forced. You just cannot duck from post 10. He missed a neck last time out last week, a couple of weeks back, though, in that Brower. So I think he's going to fire up from post 10 here tonight. I think that's one that's going to certainly leave. We'll see how the others decide to map it out in what should be a really good renewal of the William Houghton.
You know, he was post-parading just by us there a moment ago, and then we just saw him on the big screen. He's up on the bit. He is not giving Joey any sort of easy couple of laps around there. So I would assume that he would want him to be forwardly placed just by the language of the horse.
Yeah, he looks like, as you said, he's keyed up, he's ready to go, and that's the difference. You see some horses on the track right now, Jess, at this point, you know, they've made their score down. They're just waiting to go behind the starting gate, but some of these horses were on the track after the post-parade, and the drivers are just trying to keep them nice, calm, and relaxed. They know it's about to be battle time here under the lights with this big crowd on hand. Some of the others, though, you want to get them keyed up because you want them to be live at the start of the race. It did appear that Joe Bongiorno was being very aggressive at the score down with Vukovalis there again from post 10, so I do think that indicates to me that he's going to take a very aggressive approach.
Let's talk about our top choice for a moment. 5-2 on the 3, Coach Stefanos, Breeders' Crown champ last year, a winner last time out in the Brower from well off of the pace. He chased down that hot pace, though, gave 120 and 2 to the 3/4. I don't know if they're going to go that kind of speed here tonight, but he definitely loves to chase down the speed.
Well, that's it. The faster they go, the more he's going to love the tempo, Jess, and that's what really aids him. Now, he is a little bit of a trip-dependent horse. He needs a lively tempo. If they don't go fast enough up front, he won't be able to cut into that margin when it counts late.
Race 7 is the first division of the William Houghton Memorial, an overflow field of 11. 2 4-year-olds taking on open company for the first time, Captain Albano and Sabonis. Hall of Fame announcer Ken Workington has your call.
VIP Internet Stable for $147,500. Field of 11, 8-5 on the 5, Captain Albano, 9-5, 11, Sabonis, 5-2, 3, Coach Stefanos. Here they come. And the raw Musketeer, Hanover, Vukovalis in blast-off mode. Captain Albano's out of there with Coach Stefanos in spring in his step. And Buckabed Hanover on the rail and swooping down Vukovalis. Vukovalis sprints to the front, spring in his step second. And Buckabed Hanover gets away third. Sabonis fourth from the second tier. Captain Albano fifth on the outside. In between them is Coach Stefanos, now 7th past the opening quarter. Then comes Blazing Home, stride for stride with Oakwood Arden. Of course, 3 wide past that quarter was Musketeer Hanover, then Ruthless Hanover, and 7 colors, 26. Hot opening quarter, and a Buckabed Hanover takes the lead. Here comes Sabonis and Dexter Dunn on the move up to challenge. Right there on the inside is Vukovalis after the quick start. Spring in his step is 4th. To the outside, Captain Albano 5th, flushed out by Coach Stefanos in 6th. Blazing Home is saving ground 7th. Then it's Oakwood Arden. He is stride for stride with Musketeer Hanover. Saving ground is 7 colors on the inside. And now the trailer is Ruthless Hanover. 53 and 2 on to the far turn with 3/8 to go. It's Sabonis, the graduate champion, and Dexter Dunn. The ball's in his court. Up first over is Captain Albano. He's coming to call. A Buckabed Hanover on the inside third. Second over trip, Coach Stefanos, a tailor-made trip for him. A shuffle for Vukovalis on the inside. And third over, Oakwood Arden is setting up a big rally. 121 and 2, Sabonis in front. It's Sabonis in a firing line, taking a shot at him. Captain Albano right there. And here is Coach Stefanos with his big kick. And here is Oakwood Arden up on the outside. He's towering up for Jordan Stratton in deep stretch. Sabonis is still there. Oakwood Arden on the outside. Oakwood Arden upsets. Then Coach Stefanos, Sabonis, and Captain Albano, 147 and 3 in a thriller.
Upset time there in race number 7. Looked like 32-1, and the pace that we were looking at and wondering about, it did end up happening. And Oakwood Arden, huge long shot there, runs by them all in the lane.
Yeah, Jordan Stratton with a well-timed effort to get his nose down in front. Just going past Coach Stefanos late in the game and lighting up the toe boards. We did figure out that those second set of bulbs do work on this one.
Yeah, taking a look at some of the pace. And we saw that 26 opening quarter, and we were talking right before they went off there in that 1 mile trot that you would need to see something like that for some of these closers for them to get really into the race.
Yeah, they had to be salivating in the backfield when a Buckabet Hanover makes the move down the backside. And there was some early moves and early action going on there, and it set up for an exhilarating stretch finish and a really good first division of the Houghton Memorial here.
Yeah, really, really impressive effort there. Oakwood Arden gets the job done. Sabonis did a ton of heavy lifting in there, Gabe, and was in front most of the way, but just got run down by a big long shot there in the end.
Detriment, Chris. We spoke about it before the race, but when he had that second tier post, your nose is not at the gate, so you can't really get out of there. So Dexter had to move him early in that mile, wanted to give him every chance to race, and the early fractions just took their toll. I was on the wrong closer here at the end of the day. Like the three-coach Stefanos, he was up good at the outside. He was drafting second over against Standardbreds by nature. They like to draft other horses, so he didn't have to tip 3 wide until the top of the stretch, but he was unable to outkick the horse on his back. That was a 6 Oakwood Arden. How about this, guys? You don't see many Irish-bred Standardbreds. This guy bred in Ireland, a set of Sweet Lou. He moved stateside just a couple of years back for trainer Robert Cleary. He's had a nice campaign. He was 9 of 16 last year, made $170,000. But this, by far, the biggest win of his career, the fastest he's ever gone in his life, 147-3. This was quite the renewal. But Oakwood Arden here riding third over there on the outside, able to make up that ground through the stretch. Sabonis was dead game of defeat, but he'll have to settle for third.
Thanks, Gabe. Taking a look at the replay here once again through the lane, and Coach Stefanos, you saw, and Gabe talked about that drafting trip too. Just Oakwood Arden just worked out the better trip in this situation.
Yeah, Oakwood Arden ends up making that last move and makes it a winning one. Sabonis valiant in defeat.
Yeah, Sabonis really did all the heavy lifting, as we see plenty when they are up with the pace early on. That second tier, something to maybe take notice of as we look at some of the races a little bit later on the card. But Jess Otten is making her way over to Jordan Stratton here with our big long shot winner.
Thanks, Chris. Oakwood Arden sets a new lifetime mark tonight, Jordan, 147-3. Only the second time you've sat behind this guy. He's a nice horse.
He's a very nice horse. I've raced against him plenty since he come over. I actually qualified him when he first got here, and then, it just didn't work out where I got the drive, but I'm glad to reunite with him now.
He hasn't quite put his best foot forward maybe in the last couple of starts. We know he loves the Big M. Just talk me through the trip through your vantage point.
Following, the whole field's good, but following Coach Stefanos, this horse was really good last week. He just, impossible spot, the dead cover outside, and Coach Stefanos actually ducked back inside and won the race, but Stefanos is a hard horse to out sprint, but man, he gave 100% tonight.
What were your thoughts halfway through the stretch? Because you had him to go by, but you had Sabonis, and of course you had Captain Albano as well. But halfway through the stretch, what were you thinking?
It felt like I was going to sprint right by him. I mean, my horse felt awesome, and I looked over, and we were still all right there. I didn't know if I was going to get it or not, but he dug in down by the wire. He's just a really good horse.
Nice job.
Thank you.
There you have it. Oakwood Arden, new lifetime mark, 147-3. Jordan Stratton, Bob Cleary teaming up in the first division of the William Houghton Memorial. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jess. And you do hear a lot of personal best marks, and we talked about horses coming up to some real prime efforts. And when you get a pace setup like this, and it's really what your horse likes to do, pace makes the race.
Pace really does make the race, and you see the good horses put forth their best efforts and career marks on big nights like this, and that's really what gets you excited about things like this.
Yeah, somebody's got to be partying in Ireland tonight, huh? You were looking at Irish bread.
Yeah, no, it's, as Gabe was talking about, you don't see too many of those, but I'm sure somebody's tipping back a pint for them.
All right, we got a break coming up here. We got a big long shot. No more favorites, 32-1. Big winner here. Come back for more. America's Day at the Races.
Now's the time to subscribe to the Naira Bets YouTube channel. Join Matthew DeSantis and Kaylee Shapiro for stakes previews, in-depth analysis, and handicapping strategy and tutorials. Subscribe to and like Naira Bets on YouTube.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. You see a gorgeous shot there of the Meadowlands as we continue to see some very, very nice racing action. And we've got our first long shot of the night, 32-1, Oakwood Ardennes. The Irish bred getting the job done. It was a race that did set up for closers, and this was just the best closer on the night.
Yeah, finished with the best kick, making that third over move. And you can see as we get into the replay, he's sitting back there, third over in sixth right now. He's going to tip out as they turn for home. And really, there's 4 of them in with a shot here, and he's going to get the job done. Anxious moment trying to get by Coach Stefanos, who's a tough customer, and then Sabonis didn't want to give it up, but in time, Oakwood Ardennes gets his nose down in time.
You know, we saw What a Bit Hanover had made that same move in the last race. It had that first up trip, but just was a little bit stronger and able to run by. This was a case of that first up was probably not the position you wanted to be in.
No, the first up trip had a lot of work to do, and Oakwood Ardennes took advantage of it. It really was, as they got heated up early, it set it up for somebody who was going to come with the best late
Yeah,
run.
it did sound like Jordan Stratton thought that he said he was going to just go right on by him, but Sabonis was hanging in there tough. I think Sabonis is going to be one that kind of jumps off the page from today's 7th, but we do get a price 32-1. The Meadowlands action heating up as we're getting closer now to race number 8, and that's of course going to start a pick 4. So looking forward to this pick 4. But Twin B Joe Fresh, she's been the queen. She was defeated last time in the Dorothy Houghton Memorial at 1 mile a pace. And taking a look at this race, and Rob, when you talk about Twin B Joe Fresh, and I'm not going to ask for your selection yet, even though I know it's going to be the one, but what did you take from that race last time? I mean, do we have some knocks on the queen of her division? Are we seeing some chinks in the armor, or was it just one effort that you kind of got to throw out?
It could be. Could be a little bit of both here, but maybe it is a case of Sylvia Hanover just getting 1 or 2 steps closer to the queen of harness racing. It's one of those things that one race doesn't define anybody's career, but it could be a sign that maybe tonight we get a big battle between the two of them, but these are 2 superstars, and we're lucky to see them again tonight.
And in racing, in general, we like these matchups. We like when we get some really good horses that can pace against one another in these spots. And Sylvia Hanover, she is very impressive, and you got a nice price on her last time out. Is she going to get more respect, or are we going to see the tables turn and go back to Twin B Joe Fresh, who we saw a while ago back in this race here tonight?
It's kind of an interesting debate, because I was up there at Mohawk the night in the Roses Are Red, and Twin B Joe Fresh, you could have seen these mares 20 times. It wouldn't have changed, but Sylvia Hanover turns the table, and it was one of those efforts that was just a very gritty, determined effort. We'll see if she can take it again. She does have to deal with post number 9 tonight, though. Gabe was talking about it earlier in the last race. Post number 9, not always the easiest thing to do from, but it is where you start from. That starts, but it's where you finish that matters.
All right, we're looking forward to it. The Dorothy Houghton Memorial 1 mile pace is going to be coming up here. Race number 8 on the card, and that pick 4. I think Rob even put together a pick 4 ticket. Come on back, America's Day at the Races here on FS2.
Ever dreamed of owning a racehorse? Well, now you can for free. Introducing freeracehorse.com, where you get a real share in a real racehorse at no cost. Be part of the action. Get VIP access to training, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and experience the thrill of the race like never before. Sign up now at freeracehorse.com and claim your free ownership share today. Don't just watch the race. Own it.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions. And hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
America's Day at the Races here at the Meadowlands. And Gabe Pruitt, Jess Otten, they are at the Meadowlands. And with the Hamiltonian coming up, with all these preview races coming up, Rob, of course, and you start taking a look at the main contenders, and we'll talk to them in just a second here and get their top fives. But it's an exciting time for all the contenders and all the real matchups that we see. But with the big money on the line, the 100th Hamiltonian, now is the time that you really got to crank it up here as we're getting close to August 2nd.
Yeah, everybody's going to be focusing in on those last details, those last race or two as they get into it, as they get set up for the eliminations. And as we get into the later part of July, it really gets clear who is a contender and who's a pretender.
Yeah, it's nice to have some of these preview races, too, with $100,000 purses that you could still be facing and trotting at going for. Looking at the top fives in the divisions, and going to be for both of you, Jess Otten, taking a look at your top five going in, and we've kind of got an idea of who Gabe likes, but yours is the mystery right now. Where are we going? Who's going to be winning the 100th Hamiltonian in your mind?
Well, you know, I don't know who exactly is going to win it, but I think I know who I like on top for sure. I had to wait until after those earlier divisions of the Stanley Dancer Memorial before I put together my top five. Coming in at number 5, we saw this colt finish second earlier on in the card. That's Montserrat for the Andrew Harris barn. Newer owners, I guess you could say, to the business. David Miller does the driving. I thought he finished up his mile very, very nicely. Coming in at number 4, well, that's Maryland. He put up a very solid effort tonight. He fought back on the inside, but he did end up finishing second behind Go Doggo. So I'm going to put him in at number 4. I need to see a little bit more from him moving forward. Coming in at number 3, a Motoconn Legacy, a horse that we're still waiting to see surface here at the Big M. He's undefeated so far in his 3-year-old season, coming off of a win at the Zwag up at Vernon Downs. Number 2, well, that's another Marcus Melander trainee in Super Chapter. Solid front-end score this afternoon or this evening here at the Big M. A good effort there. Dexter Dunn did the driving, and coming in at number 1, he was my best bet of the night. Go Dog Go. I think he's just really matured into himself in this 3-year-old season. We knew he had the speed last year. He just didn't have the brains. This year, he's got the speed and the brains, and I think that is going to really help this guy come that first Saturday in August. Go Dog Go, Carter Pinsky, Todd McCarthy. I think they got a game chance to win the 100th Hamiltonian coming up on Saturday, August 2nd. Chris?
Thank you very much, Jess. And I think we're starting to see Go Dog Go is starting to kind of reach the top of everybody's list right now. It's certainly going to take some respect and some action at the windows. But Go Dog Go, especially off that impressive here earlier this evening, this is when you really start to see, like you said, those main contenders for the 100th Hamiltonian. We've got race number 8 coming up, and Twimpy Joe Fresh, she is going to be the headliner here. Sylvia Hanover, though, are we going to see this real clash of these champions? We're going to find out here. We're going to have a close parade in just a moment. That 1 mile pace coming up at $142,000. And right now, our own Paul Verderosa is catching up with trainer Chris Ryder here, who's got the 3-5 favorite in Twin B, Joe Fresh.
Okay. With the man of the hour, trainer Chris Ryder of Twin B, Joe Fresh. And Chris, gotta ask, you know, last week, was it a disappointing effort for you for her? Because she's been so good for so long. I mean, what do you take out of it?
Yeah, it's always a little disappointing when you're a favourite and she's been winning so many races. But, you know, when you train horses, you're prepared for it. You know, that's the way we live. So I'm still pleased to be second, believe me. Yeah.
So now coming back tonight and coming into this race, what are you expecting? What's the kind of setup we can see from her tonight?
I think she's sitting on a big mile, as good a mile as she's ever given us. I don't like to be too confident, but actually I am confident tonight. So we have a good post, we have the inside, and she feels as good as ever tonight, so I'm expecting a top-of-the-line race from her. Yeah.
Big effort coming up potentially from the queen of harness racing, Chris Ryder. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much. Good.
Thank you very much, Paul. Taking a look at Twin B, Joe Fresh. And Rob, I know, let's not keep the suspense going. This is going to be your top choice, heavy favorite, and also going to key your pick 4 here. Is going to be your single here in the first leg?
Yeah, I'm going to single, get it out of the way, try to get that square done and moved on. $100,000 guaranteed pick 4, and we're going to single Twin B, Joe Fresh. Just going to take it and not get it too wide, and we'll try to get a price in behind her.
Yeah, I know you hang out with a lot of trainers, or you get a chance to talk to a lot of trainers, but that sounded like a very confident Chris Ryder going into this effort. You're going to go with the number 1 here, Twin B, Joe Fresh, and then you start to spread here, race 9, 10, 11, so you got to get past this first leg, but you really spread in race 9 and 10.
Yeah, I thought the 9th race was the race that I wanted the most coverage in. I thought there was a number of different options. I thought this was one of those things that was a race that you could maybe get a bit of a price, and nobody's going to be too short. So we'll use a little bit of coverage there, and then you come back, and it gets a little tougher in there. And then I wanted a couple of horses in the Meadowlands pace because I think, as we said, it's going to be a scrambly, tight finish. We don't anticipate anybody being overwhelming in there. So, but we are going to have to get Twin B Joe Fresh to get this job done.
How are you? How confident are you? Chris Ryder was very confident. How confident are you?
I'm not Chris Ryder, but I'm excited for this as well.
We'll see if Twin B Joe Fresh can revert back to that really, really dominating winning performance. But we've got a nice ticket here from Rob McLennan. Gabe Pruitt, what kind of ticket do you have for us here for this pick 4? Is it as easy as singling the 1?
No, it's not. Actually, I'm going to take a shot. I actually like Sylvia Hanover better than Twin B Joe Fresh, but as you guys said, Chris Ryder seemed to be oozing with confidence. She's last year's Horse of the Year, the sport of harness racing, so I wasn't confident enough to take a swing totally against her. I did use her as well, so I'm going to go, I think, bomb-proof guys here the first leg. I'm going to use them both. 1 and 9 are going to be my top couple there. Then we'll go into that Hamiltonian Maturity. That's that big 13-horse field. I'm going to use Private Access from Post 2. That was a horse that was used very hard last week. I think tonight he'll make a little bit of an easier leash. I think he could bounce back. Also, a couple of the mares there, Warwi Michelle and Elisa Hanover. Going to try both of those mares on the ticket there. So we're 3 deep. We'll march on to the other division of the William Houghton. I'm going to try Irvin Hanover. Like him quite a bit. He's going to be a price there from post number 2. I can't leave off Kid Hanover there. He's going to be the likely favorite. He has been so sharp this year, winning 5 of 6. And that's going to take us all the way into the Meadowlands pace. The feature here tonight, I think that's a wide open affair. I'm going to use Poppy's Pistol from post 1, Prince Hal Hanover, the Canadian Invader from post number 4, Manolette, who's closing very well from post 8, and then Madden Oaks with 25-year-old Braxton Boyd at the bike there. The morning line favorite will go 4 deep there. Same similar type investment here for me. It's $24 at the end of the day.
Yeah, and Gabe pointing out there the $24 ticket. I think our prices got switched. Yours is the $36 play. Gabe's is a $24 play. But get involved again, Naira Bets, and taking a look at those pick 4s. $100,000 guaranteed. And pick 4s are always just a nice wager to take a look at those multi-legs.
Yeah, it gets you through a couple of legs of action if you can get past that first leg, and we'll have some fun here with the mares.
All right, there is your single, Twin B Joe Fresh. What can you say?
She's 1 to 2. She does everything you ask her. 32 for 43 lifetime.
Right,
looking
next
for
going to be the 2. Turn the page.
Yeah, Turn the Page coming off that 5th place finish in the Perfect Sting. She's going to look to turn the tables on the big girls.
Scotty Z, as they call him, a sweet beach here.
Yeah, 3rd last time in the Kentucky Sire race at Oak Grove. She's a big price.
Walking on Sunshine, the 4.
Coming off back-to-back wins at Yonkers and Pocono. She's been good, but takes a step up tonight.
Dave Miller will have the number 5, big long shot, and Talk Curdy to me.
A couple of 3rd place finishes, but an aggressive long shot driver here with Dave Miller.
Kind of an interesting new face, maybe. Kobe's Gigi here, the 6.
Kobe's Gigi gets back in the Ron Burke barn, won that open race at Oak Grove, came back to the Burke barn and qualified like a good thing.
Stone Cold Treachery here. The 7 is going to be 77-1. We'll go to the 8 here. My Girl EJ at 13-1.
3rd in the Perfect Sting. 7th in the Roses Are Red. Again, another one that's seen a lot of Twin B Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover looking to turn the tide. She will be forwardly placed.
Yeah, you know, a lot of these horses have to face one another here a lot of times. Sylvia Hanover here 3-1.
Yeah, she got the job done last time. Now she goes to the outside. She's your logical alternative, but it's just going to be how this cat and mouse game kind of plays out.
All right, we're going to find out what's going to happen in that race flow, because that's going to be so important for the 1 Twin B Joe Fresh, your single, and then of course Gabe Pruitt going to go 2 deep here in that first leg of the pick 4 and get involved with Sylvia Hanover. He's going to go 1-9. It's a great 1-mile pace that is going to be coming up, and I think Gabe and Jess are going to have a little bit more here coming up for today's 8th race, talking about what they think here. Is it as easy as the 2 favorites?
Oh, I think so, Gabe. You know, obviously between Twin B Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover. Sylvia Hanover, I thought that was a heck of a drive by T-Trick last time out, Gabe. He left, he sat, and he forced Twin B Joe Fresh to come first over, and she towed Sylvia into the race. So I thought it was a very good drive, very good effort, and upset there in against Twin B Joe Fresh. I heard Chris Ryder last night talk about Twin B Joe Fresh. Minor issues He thinks she's sitting on a huge mile tonight. And bettors are forgiving that effort last time out. She's 2-5 right now.
They are certainly forgiving that effort. Sometimes we do see, an overreaction, I think, from start to start, Jess, but not the case here tonight. No, they've hooked up just twice this year in their 5-year-old campaigns. One has gone to the 1 Twin Bee Joe Fresh, one to the 9 Sylvia Hanover. So they've been 1-2 at each of their last matchups. I just don't think there should be quite this discrepancy in price. And when we start talking about a race from a value perspective, you're getting over 6 times the price right now on Sylvia Hanover as you are Twin Bee Joe Fresh. Now, I'll concede the fact that Twin Bee Joe Fresh should be the favorite in here. I do not think there should be this type of discrepancy. I don't think there's much separating these mares here in their 5-year-old campaign. You should not be getting that much better of a number on the 9 Sylvia Hanover in my mind.
She opened up at 9-1. I had to blink twice to make sure I was looking at the right number.
I was hoping to get fixed odds wager. We could find someone to get me down at 9-1, but that price is just headed south as the wagering continues to come in here. And I think it may click down, another notch potentially. I think the outside post is going to inflate the price a bit, Jess. But, I'm thinking maybe 5-2 here at the end of the day. And I think you are indeed going to have to swallow odds on Twin Bee Joe Fresh to the inside.
Let's talk about a couple of others in here. Aside from Twin Bee Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover, Kobe's Gigi. She's known to upset this group once or twice in her lifetime as well. She's now a 7-year-old. 2 starts so far this season. She's had a win, 2 back in the Fillies and Mares Open.
No slouch. She's made nearly $900,000. The daughter, J.K. Endavidera, hasn't raced since early May, Jess. Now, that may not sound like a long time if you're out there in the thoroughbred world. When you've been off a couple of months in the standardbred world, that's an eternity. These races, horses, typically you see them week in, week out, if not every couple of weeks. So, you lose a little bit of a fitness edge when you miss that much time. So I think, obviously, she had her work cut out for her to begin with. But I think with the missed time, I know she's flirting up there at about double digits, 9-1 right now. I just think that's asking a bit too much for her to go with a couple of killers here, at least for the top spot with that missed time under her belt as well.
What about Walking on Sunshine? I know you use this one in your business as well. Talk about that win resume, 10 wins from 15 starts. She's coming in over from that Indiana Sire Stakes program last couple of years. She's now 5. She's sharp. This might be a little bit of a testament to her.
She's shown a lot of ability, over $500,000 in her career. And as you said, she knows how to get the job done. You love horses that know where that line is and know how to reach up and get it done. She's won 2 in a row coming into tonight, both by just a half length. So, it's not like she's blowing out fields, but she knows how to seal the deal and get it done. The difference is, Jess, this is a Shark Tank she's landing into tonight. She's been primarily racing across the bridge at Yonkers over in New York of late, over into the spring and into the summer. She's been doing well. It's been a great campaign for her. She's been on the board 14 of 15, as you mentioned, winning 10 of those events. But believe me, she hasn't faced Twin Bee Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover. That's the trouble. Big-time test for class tonight for the 4 Walking on Sunshine.
I want to get your opinions on my girl, EJ. They acquired this horse at the end of her 3-year-old season. She was second behind Twin Bee Joe Fresh in that championship at the end of the year. They added Lasix last time out, Gabe. I thought it was still a really nice effort in that perfect sting. She actually led the way through that middle half of the mile. Come up a little short, but Andrew Harris alluded to it that weekend, Gabe, where, now they're going to drive her for second. They think she's a notch below him. She's still a nice mare in her own right.
Well, believe me, if they'd love to win. But as you said, just against a couple of killers, it's just so tough. So you want to try and, put yourself in the very best position. And if things break your way, that, hey, step up and pull off a big upset. But sort of what you're going up against, I think, taking on these 2 favorites. She'll have to start from post 8 tonight, Jess. I just don't know what to make of her in this spot tonight. I'm not sure how she's going to be raced. She did go to the lead there last time and got just a little bit tired at the end of the race. Didn't perform badly there in a 3rd place effort, but she's still going to have to find a little bit of another gear if she's going to hang with these 2 favorites.
Twin Bee Joe Fresh was a winner in this event in 2024, 147-3. Sylvia Hanover, she finished 3rd behind her, and the stakes record was established in 2022 of 147 by Test of Fate. The Dorothy Houghton Memorial is up next for the older pacing mares. Ken Workington has your call as they head behind the gate.
Here's Ken Workington with the call of the Dorothy Houghton Memorial.
Your final call for the 50-cent mid pick 4, $100,000 guarantee. The Go for Glory stable warm-up is complete, and it's post time. Preferred Equine Starting Gate moves into position here for the field of 9. $142,000 Dorothy Houghton Memorial. Sponsored by David and Mary Ellen McDuffie to start the 50-cent mid-pick 4. 2 to 5 on the 1. Twinbee Joe Fresh. She is the Dorothy Houghton Memorial defending champion. 7 to 2 on the 9. Sylvia Hanover. And the others in double figures. They're on gate, race 8, ready for start. Here they come. And they're off. Kobe's Gigi, a stone cold treachery, tried to leave with her and backed away. My Girl EJ on the outside. Twinbee Joe Fresh, she leaves sharply on the rails. She is third now as Sylvia Hanover swoops down on the outside. Fourth around that first turn. It's Turn the Page, fifth as they head to the opening quarter, followed by Walking on Sunshine, sixth. And then it's a Sweet Beach here at the rear of the field, followed by Stone Cold Treachery and Tuck Curdy. To me, 26-1. Toward opening fraction, Sylvia Hanover used hard, looking to win again, and she clears the lead after 3/8. My Girl EJ now second. Kobe's Gigi tracking third. Twinbee Joe Fresh is right there in fourth as the pace slows. Turn the Page, fifth on the inside, taking a peek to the outside here. Then Walking on Sunshine, followed by a Sweet Beach here and Stone Cold Treachery. Tuck Curdy to me continues to trail. They have paired up at the half here. Sylvia Hanover the target. She's looking to win again. Stole a 29-second and blowing right by her like she was standing still. Twinbee Joe Fresh. Wow, what acceleration. Twinbee Joe Fresh takes the lead. Sylvia Hanover back in the second spot as they round the far turn. Here comes Turn the Page first over on the outside third. A shuffle for My Girl EJ on the inside fourth. That's Walking on Sunshine second over. A good trip for her fifth. A shuffle for Kobe's Gigi sixth on the inside at 3/4. Twinbee Joe Fresh. Sylvia Hanover in the pocket spot. 1:22 and 3. 27 and 2, third quarter speed. Twinbee Joe Fresh. She took off by 3, now 4 lengths, leaving Sylvia Hanover in her wake. Walking on Sunshine, late pace on the outside. Twinbee Joe Fresh, a pacing dynamo in the Dorothy Houghton Memorial. Twinbee Joe Fresh, then Sylvia Hanover. Walking on Sunshine, My Girl EJ, dazzling 1:48-1.
Twinbee Joe Fresh dominant there in tonight's Dorothy Houghton Memorial, and our track announcer Ken Workington noticed the acceleration. We saw the acceleration. She was ultra impressive tonight.
Yeah, Dexter said, no, we're not slowing it down too much, and took the game right to Sylvia Hanover, who had to do a lot of work earlier, but Twinbee Joe Fresh really controlled the back half of this race, and she was much the best.
Yeah, very confident trainer, and Chris Ryder and Gabe Pruitt, and taking a look at the race, turns the tables on Sylvia Hanover, who was very good in defeat, but Twinbee Joe Fresh in another class. And how about that acceleration moving towards that far turn?
Yeah, it was amazing. And the thing is, guys, he didn't want to ease up to Sylvia Hanover, because if not, she would have left, Tim Tetrick would have left her to the outside there and have to work hard in that two-pass. So Dexter made a bull rush to the lead. It paid off here. And as quick as that was, guys, how about the final quarter here? Once she made the lead, 25-3. The final quarter mile of the race there. So she was really fastest on the end of this race. Just tons left of the tank. This was a huge rebound performance for last year's Horse of the Year, Twinbee Joe Fresh. She is the queen of harness racing. This was an explosive performance. She beat a very good field tonight.
Yeah, and Rob, you talk about a 1-5 favorite, and you talk about Dexter Dunn, and he made sure that, from my eyes, that nobody could take the race from him. You want to make sure that she gets the right trip. She got the right trip, but he was with such confidence driving a 1-5 favorite who is the best horse out there right now, and she was very dominant, and she did exactly what she's expected to do.
Yeah, this was exactly the game plan. He knows this filly so well, this mare so well. He owns a piece of her. Look, she's parading back. Like, this is one of those things that he just has that sense of timing with her, and they've done this so many times, and he knew that he had to push the button, and the button, how much of the button he had to push, and that was basically all he needed. And as Gabe was saying, that was very, very impressive as she really took off
and
for home.
I know Jeff's going to have an interview, but Gabe, you talk about Dexter Dunn and just his composure of driving a 1-5 filly or mare like this, just stays so composed, so confident. don't have Gabe right now, but there is Dexter Dunn coming back, and I think Jess Otten's going to have an interview with the Winning Connections, and they've been very used to this. Dexter Dunn, Chris Ryder, and Twin B Joe Fresh, as Jess Otten's going to get a chance to talk to the Winning Connections right now.
Thanks, Chris. Twin B Joe Fresh, 148-1. Co-owner and driver Dexter Dunn. No anxious moments in the first turn, Dexter. Timmy tapped the brakes, and she was just sitting chilly from there.
Yeah, there's a few levers early. So lucky with her, you can really just do what you want. She lets you do what you want, and we moved down the back, and I was just going to ride slowly, but she wanted to carry on, and she got around pretty easy, and she just felt fantastic on the last turn. And when I asked her to quicken, she was like her usual self and took off.
There's one word I've always used to describe her, and that's a tank. Is there any difference from her growing up from 4 to 5? Because she just looks phenomenal.
She got bigger, Jess. When I seen her the first time this year, I was wondering if I could get a bigger bike for her because her booty doesn't barely fit in there in between the shafts. But no, she's just just an amazing animal. She's so intelligent, so powerful, and extremely fast. It's a fun ride.
Nice job with her. Quick question, Captain Optimistic heading into that Meadowlands Pace final. You draw the middle of the gate. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got the ability to be a major player. He's just got to turn up. We'll be hoping for a bit of speed. I don't know if we'll be heading forward early, and just hopefully find the right helmet with him. And we know he can do it, so it's going to be about the trip for him.
Congratulations. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, Jess.
Twin B Joe Fresh returns to the winner's circle in that Dorothy Houghton Memorial, 148-1. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Jess. And taking a look at Twin B Joe Fresh again, just crossing the wire and ultra impressive. And Dexter Dunn talked about him being confident and composed. And Gabe, I know you speak very highly of Dexter Dunn, and for one of the top drivers in the world to speak so glowingly about how impressive a mare Twin B Joe Fresh is, she just continues to know exactly what she's doing when she gets to the racetrack.
It really is amazing, guys, because it's tough for horses to continue these types of runs year in and year out. And this is a mare that's been so sharp. You see this explosive move to the top in this race right here. You're going to see the back stretch where she just accelerates and rushes up there to Sylvia Hanover. Clears before the turn. Now, that's key because you don't want to be on the outside in that turn, losing extra ground. The bad news is you cover up the horse to beat. So now Sylvia Hanover, the 9, she gets to draft along in behind you before she should have taken her shot here in the late stages. But obviously, as you guys saw, it made no difference. This mare was in a different orbit tonight. I know it's, it has to be one of Dexter's favorite horses. Obviously, owning a piece of her as well. She just has to be such a pleasure to show up and sit behind week in, week out. But I thought turning for home right here that we could have a good matchup with Sylvia Hanover. She got the Braven back up a little bit by drafting along Twin B Joe Fresh. But you can see right here the separation starts. And Twin B Joe Fresh, it opens up to a 3-length lead. You can tell already at mid-stretch, Sylvia Hanover was going to hold second with ease, but she had no answers for the dominant Twin B Joe Fresh, last year's Horse of the Year, and on a solid path to continue her dominance in the sport of harness racing.
Yeah, you're also seeing, I think, Rob, horses, they don't like to lose. They want to win. Sylvia Hanover, she knows who's in front of her, and they just have that knack that they want to keep driving. They want to keep going forward. It's just right now, Twin B Joe Fresh is just a little bit better than the rest. She's dominant, and she got right back to her winning form here tonight.
Yeah, last week, a race from memory now with that impressive victory. She does it really with the greatest of ease, and she really just asserts herself, and we're going to see her that many more times this summer, and look forward to seeing what she can do as we get into the dog days.
And you were really sweating out your single there at 1 to 5 there as they were coming through the lane. Single gets home. A lot of coverage here going on in the pick 4, so good luck, Rob. Good luck to bettors out there. We got plenty more coming up. Still got that Meadowlands Pace as well. America's Day at the Races on FS2.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest price horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and stallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Still a gorgeous night there. You see MetLife Stadium, of course. Been to a game there?
I have.
Yeah? Who'd you see?
We saw Bengals Jets on Halloween my first year here.
Wow. How was the game?
Jets beat the Bengals, which I'm shocked. I'm 2-0 in Jets home games.
Not a big rivalry there, but Twin B Joe Fresh, how impressive with this. There she is once again in the winner's circle. She seems to know exactly where that winner's circle is. She knows what her job is to be dominant, is to perform well, and this was all class and all top of the game here tonight.
Yeah, she really handed her rival a bitter defeat here. Sylvia Hanover had to do a lot of work early, I'll give her that, but Twin B Joe Fresh was the best one tonight. We'll see how the posts shake out for the next time they meet up, because we'll see them again, but Twin B Joe Fresh was much the best tonight, as she is on most nights. She's going behind the gate.
Yeah, when there's an interview with Chris Ryder, if he's a little confident there going into the race, you know that you've got to be in. The other favorite gets home here at 1-5, but can't say it's a chalk miss. Thank you, Oakwood Ardan. We had that 32-1 shot in there, so you're seeing a mixture, but when you have top performers like this, you will see some favorites get home at short prices.
Yeah, these horses do tend to separate themselves, and the good horses show up with good races, and they're consistent, and that's why they are who they are.
Well, if you're going to single a 1-5 shot to start your pick 4, like you did in that $100,000 guaranteed pick 4, we're going to find out what's going to happen in your next leg. You've got some coverage, so does Gabe. But you've got deep, deep coverage here in the next 2 legs. The E.T. Jerry Jr. Hamiltonian Maturity 13 signed on here. Big purse, $425,000. Right now, Alyssa Hanover going to be in the middle there, the number 6 at 7-5, Dave Miller.
Yeah, another one of these. Oh, look at that number when she opens up at 7-5. 13 of them, 3 trailers behind the gate, 1 1/8 mile, not something you see all the time. I think there's lots to look into here, lots to dive into. A pretty wide open race when I looked at it. I have 6 of them in my pick 4 ticket, and I could have used 8 or 9 of them if I really wanted to get deep, but it's kind of a fun group, and it's something you don't see a lot of, and you've got colts and mares and all kind of combining together to make one race.
And you also talk about the distance too. You were talking about the 1.1 mile, and you don't see that distance very much too, but with 13 signed on here, you go to 1.1 mile.
Yeah, you're gonna have one of those things you don't see a lot of, and they get some time to sort it out, as Gabe was telling us. So it's one of those rare occurrences you see from time to time, but it does give them that extra 1/8 of a mile, and the 3 trailers, and they're gonna have to work through their trips and see how it kind of all works out. Should be a fun race. It's gonna be an exciting race, and once again, I'm glad I'm not calling it.
Yeah, good to get some position there in the early flow of a big race. $425,000. Not sure your pick 4 is gonna pay that, but we've got plenty more. We'll watch your ticket and watch some great harness action coming up.
Whether you maintain a food plot on the weekends, tend to a small herd of livestock, or work in professional landscaping, New Holland's family of Workmaster and Boomer compact tractors at Clinton Tractor can get the job done. Known for delivering outstanding value for their performance, these reliable, powerful, and easy to operate New Holland compact tractors will help you tackle your to-do list while being easy on your wallet.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
Who's in for Mohegan? Obviously everyone. A cheers with friends, then it's off to the races. A moment of calm before the dark and stormy. One more, dance floor. Who needs skill when you have style? And feeling like it's the best time ever? Smile. Apps and nightcaps? Yes. Then it's down for the thread count to start it all again tomorrow. This is how it feels when you're all in for Mohegan. Mohegan Sun.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, and of course, Hamiltonian. 100th Hamiltonian will be coming up at the Meadowlands. It's on August 2nd. Make sure you are watching on Fox Live. from the Meadowlands on Saturday, August 2nd. Should be a terrific, terrific day. A lot of great races on that card, but of course the 100th Hamiltonian as well will be right there on August 2nd. And Gabe Pruitt, we're looking at the Hamiltonian, and Go Dog Go, this is a name that just continues to emerge from, seems like everyone here on set, and I know you like this horse quite a bit as well, but your top 5 going into that big one on August 2nd. Who you got? Who's going to be in the winner's circle?
Well, Chris, I'll tell you that you're not going to be surprised when you get to number 1. We'll get to that in a moment. But Go Dog Go, I actually had him on the top of the list here at our first broadcast this year back in May. I've been a fan for a long time. I think the problem is everyone's catching up. He started to get to favoritism status. But we'll start with my list from the bottom up here. Number 5, Mr. Mouton. We did not see him in action tonight. That's because he raced last night. This is a very lightly raced colt. Just 4 career starts. He was 1 for 1 as a 2-year-old. He's back in a big way. He was a runner-up to Go Dog Go a couple of starts back, but he really has a ton of upside. The question is, can he catch up to some of these other colts that have been racing both last year and this year in a short time? We'll see. Dexter Dunn is driver, Oka Sponset is trader, but I think this is a horse on the rise. At number 4, I'm going to use Emoticon Legacy. That's a horse that won the big stake up in Canada, swag up at Verdun. He's been in good form. We haven't seen him here at the Meadowlands yet, but you have to respect his credentials. I'll slot him as number 4. Next 2 slots, I'm going to go with the stablemates. We'll start with Super Chapter, a winner earlier tonight in his division of the Stanley Dancer. I thought he did nothing wrong, so he won that race, did very well. At number 2, I'll go to a stablemate, Maryland. And if you like Maryland, guys, how do you not like Go Dog Go? We saw them exit that exact same race. These are my 2 top contenders on that road to the 100th Hamiltonian. Go Dog Go, of course, at number 1. And I think that they're the top 2, at least at this point in time. I'll tell you something else a little bit tricky. Dexter Dunn, well, he drives 3 of these trotters right now. Can't clone himself. He's going to have a very tough choice coming up. He drives Maryland Super Chapter and also the horse in the rise, Mr. Mouton. So that's going to be a tricky choice for him. Todd McCarthy, the driver of Go Dog Go, he does have 1 Hamiltonian win under his belt. That was a few years back with Cool Papa Bell. Guys, it was the largest upset in Hamiltonian history at 52-1. I can assure you, Go Dog Go, he won't be carrying long shot status on the first Saturday in August.
Thank you very much, Gabe. And yeah, we saw all those fun facts from the Meadowlands Pace, and then Gabe Pruitt coming with another great fun fact about the 100th Hamiltonian. August 2nd, that'll be happening. It is post-parade time here. Race number 9, Security Protected, the 1.
Kind of a live long shot here, 50-1 currently, 4th place finish last time in the Graduate Series.
Gotta love a live 50-1 shot here on the 1. The 2 is going to be Private Access.
Private Access comes off a 3rd place finish in that same race behind a couple of these. Should be able to, has drawn well and is a live contender.
Number 3 is going to be Emoji Hanover.
Coming back off a little bit of a break, qualified up at Woodbine at Mohawk and comes back down here for tonight.
James McDonald driving the 4.
Another filly, another mare coming off a couple of efforts in the Armborough flight. She looks to get back to her winning ways.
Warwick Michelle was 9-2 morning line, is sitting right there at 4-1.
She came with a good late kick last time to get up in the Graduate. Aki has a very live mare here.
Okay, favorite right now, there's the 6, 3-2, Alyssa Hanover.
Alyssa Hanover taking all sorts of money. 15-1 last time against a number of these, was beaten by Warwick Michelle, but they're really lining up to better.
Nancy Tactor, Dexter Dunn teaming up here on the 7.
Highland Kismet came back a little bit of a rough trip last time, was forwardly placed, looking to turn it around.
Jason Bartlett will be driving the number 8 in Sir Pinocchio. Let's go to the 9 here, Date Night Hanover.
Date Night Hanover, another one that's going to be getting involved late. We'll have to work something out from the outside, but Scotty Zeron in the bike.
Gruesome Twosome, Yannick Gingras.
Another one coming off a bit of a poor effort, looking to turn it around, looking for a career win, number 19.
Now with 13 signed on, here's going to be your second tier. As we spoke about, Woman of Passion is going to start that off, the 11.
Yeah, we've already seen Todd McCarthy in the winner's circle, and this is a win machine, 16 for 31 lifetime.
Here's the 12, Amazing Catch.
This is going to be a bit of a long shot here, 49-1.
Well, if you think that's a long shot. 86-1 here, Daiquiri Hanover.
Yeah, last but certainly not least, Daiquiri Hanover. Joe Bongiorno in the bike coming off a condition effort at Philly. Taking a step up tonight.
All right, we're going to be taking a look at one of your contenders on your ticket where you do spread quite a bit here in this race, but I know you were saying Warwick Michelle was one that did stand out to you. You're going to see some common contenders in the same race, but Warwick Michelle, why do you kind of give this one the edge here tonight?
I just thought she had to do a lot of work.
Effort.
Yeah, exactly. This was a good effort. You see a number of these coming back. She really had, at least the Hanover had dead aim at her, and Warwick Michelle was able to fend her off. And you get to take Aki, who wins a lot of these races. Yeah, she was 13-1 last time. You're not going to get that today, but I wanted to give her another chance to go back to back.
Yeah, she could be one of those like second, third choices right now on the board. We'll see how it does wrap up. But Nice race here. We got 13 set to drive in this 9th race coming up on the E.T. Jerry Jr. Hamiltonian Maturity. Gabe, Jess, tell us more. 13 of them here in race 9.
An overflow field of 13, Gabe. No Lasix. And I think it's the boys taking on the girls tonight. I don't think the girls are taking on the boys after that graduate final last week. Warwi, Michelle, Elisa Hanover, they were 1-2 in that event. You're going to see them start behind the gate tonight, 7-2, 8-5 on both of them now.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of respect off that start last time out, Jess. But I just wonder, there's a little bit of an overreaction. They're 2 very nice mares.
Yes.
But, this is a quite the reduction in price here tonight off what we saw both of those mares. They were double digits last time out there. They did finish 1-2. As you said, 6 mares part of the field here. I can't even remember if I've ever seen a 13-horse field in the sport of harness racing. They do go the added distance, as the guys were talking about earlier, a mile and 1/8. So the race is going to start a little earlier with that overflow field. You have 3 in the second tier. So, we anticipate a lot of action, good group. How about combined earnings? They're all just 4 years old. They're looking at right at $8 million in combined earnings. So this is really a field of trotting talent here. Some of the best, colts and mares over the last couple of seasons at 2 and 3.
Here's a fun fact for you, Gabe. The females have done quite well in this event. 2023, MM's Dream. 2022, Bella Bellini. 2018, Ariana G. 2016, Hannelore Hanover. So the females have done very well in this event.
Yes, they have. And, it's one of a lot of times we see the mares stick to racing only mares. This is one of the great events where we get to see, the top mares come in and face the top males in the sport as well. So I think, it's going to be an interesting event. You add the added distance, which we don't see really any other time during the season as well. And you add the huge field. You talk about traffic trouble. We see that sometimes in the 7 or 8 horse fields.
Right.
13 out there to contend with in this event tonight.
You like the 2, the horse you see on your screen, 4-1 on Private Access. He's been very good. I know he was in defeat last time out, but he's never had to take that much pressure for that long in a mile.
Yeah, I think that was the key last time. He was 3 for 3 coming into that event, the graduate final. He just got used extremely hard, just making the front. He actually was parked out there past the quarter pole, and the fractions were just too stiff. They went 26 and 3 there to the quarter, 54 and change to the half. I just think with post 2 tonight, he's going to have an easier time to make the lead. I think he'll be able to cross over in front of the 1, security protected, without much trouble. I think once he does so, whether he's going to be on the lead or tracking very closely, I think the trip is going to play into his hands where he won't be used as much in the earlier stages. He was 7-5 in that graduate final, and again, he did lose there to 3rd place Everett. I think this is a much better overlaid price tonight, 4-1. I'm very happy with that. I hope it holds.
I think out of the 2 fillies, they're mares that start from the middle of the gate. I think Alyssa Hanover went the tougher of the trip last week. She was 3 wide in the first turn, then parked. She had to trot home really, really strong. I don't love 8-5 on her, Gabe. I actually had her pegged as my price play of the night, but she's been good this year.
Yeah, 5-1 of the morning line. The bottom has fallen out of the price. Yeah, she has been very good, but on the other hand, she's winless this year. She's 0 for 5. She's had a couple of chances. Very close second-place finishes in each of her last 2. Now, she is a chestnut mare, cool-looking mare,
yes,
the 60 Lisa Hanover, and she likes to do her best work on the end of it. So you talk about the added distance. Will that help closers, that with the front end horses maybe tiring a little bit sooner, not accustomed to racing at a mile and 1/8. So if that is the case, I think Alyssa Hanover is in prime position to strike in the late stages. She should get another great trip, Jess, I would assume, following the 5 Warwi Michelle, which is what happened last time. The 5 narrowly held her off, but the bettors out there clearly tuned in to Alyssa Hanover off that runner-up effort.
There's so many horses coming out of that graduate final, Gabe, that race very well. Security protected from the rail, and I think a question mark in the race is actually the 11 horse, 19-1 right now on Woman of Passion, 10 wins from 15 starts last year. I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be a shootout, not into the first turn, but heading towards the straight here in just a couple of minutes.
Going to be very interesting to see how the race plays out. The 1 security protected, one of the horses that you noted, Jess, yes, he was 4th last time, but he got away 9th from post 1. Now, if he does that again tonight, that's really going to affect the horses in the second tier here. Keep in mind, 11, 12, and 13 all start in the second tier. So early position is going to be key for the big one here, $425,000 on the line.
Added distance for those 4-year-old trotters. Head to the gates. Ken Workington, Hall of Fame announcer, has your call.
For $25,000. Field of 13 going a mile and 1/8. Coming off the turn for race 9 and ready for a start. And here they come. 7-5 on the 6, Elista Hanover. And they're off and trotting. Security protected left well, but blasting off on the outside. Sir Pinocchio with speed. Sir Pinocchio, Warwi Michelle. Here comes Elista Hanover up into third. Private Access fourth. Security protected fifth. Drawn Impression 3 wide in sixth position. Amazing Catch is seventh. Then it's Woman of Passion on the inside, eighth. And shuffled back there a bit was Amazing Catch at the rear of the field, followed by Daiquiri Hanover. And then on the outside came Emoji Hanover. She is stride for stride at the back. And they head past the opening quarter. Gruesome Twosome is almost at the rear of the field there. Highland Kismet next to last. The early trailer is Date Night Hanover, 25-1 as they head the straightaway. And it's Elista Hanover reaching up to take the lead. Elista Hanover, Private Access pressing on the outside second now. Warwi Michelle is third across the backstretch. Sir Pinocchio fourth on the inside as they continue towards the half. Drawn Impression is fifth on the outside. Security Protected is sixth on the inside as they continue past the half. Then it's Amazing Catch on the outside. Amazing Catch stride for stride with Security Protected. And then it's Emoji Hanover on the outside. A shuffle for Woman of Passion at the rear of the field with Highland Kismet. A long way to come for that one. And then Amazing Catch on the inside. And then it's Date Night Hanover. And last is Gruesome Twosome. 122-1 off a 54-1 half. And it's Elista Hanover. The 7-5 favorites got the top. Drawn Impression on the outside applies steady pressure. On the inside, Private Access is third. And to the outside and off stride goes Amazing Catch, and they turn home off 3/4 and 122-1. In the stretch drive, Elista Hanover in front. Big effort from Private Access on the outside. And here is Warwi Michelle, and she's got open road. But Elista Hanover's going well. Elista Hanover, 149-3 was the mile. Elista Hanover and the Buckeye, Dave Miller. Elista Hanover, then Warwi Michelle. Security Protected and Private Access. 2:03 is a stakes record.
Elista Hanover does get the job done there for driver Dave Miller, and we saw Twin B Joe Fresh in a very dominant effort here. This is maybe one of those better than look performances because Elista Hanover had to do some moving throughout the race flow, but gets the job done and holds off the charge from Warwi Michelle, and also another one that you liked in the one in Security Protected.
Yeah, Elista Hanover turns the tables on Warwi Michelle. There was lots going on there. 6 in, 6 out going around that first turn, and lots of action. And Elista Hanover and Dave Miller gets her to the front, and she holds on. And what a thrilling, lots going on there.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at that, you talked about 6 in, 6 out, and Gabe, you saw it too. And, you know, we were talking here on the set that maybe Elista Hanover, you know, is this going to be exactly the right trip that she wants? But she gets the job done, and she was pretty impressive here. And like I say, did you see the same? Better than looked performance and a dominating effort here in today's night.
Oh, you know, I thought it would look very impressive as well, Chris. This was an absolute big-time mile from Elista Hanover. Dave Miller had been driving her quite conservatively, guys. We did the last couple of starts, just letting her finish up. Well, tonight, he took the training wheels off. I mean, to work that hard to make the lead, that was well past the quarter. Quarter was quick here, 25-1, but keep in mind with the earlier start, the entire first quarter is a straightaway. So that's going to make the opening quarter a little quicker than obviously if you have to go around the turn. Elista Hanover made the lead, then turned the 2 Private Access to the front, and Dave immediately removed. So she was 2 moved here at the top of the stretch in a 1 1/8 race. I mean, I thought she had every excuse to get a little tired on the end of it. She did the exact opposite. Stakes record here for the 1 1/8, 2:03. Again, a beautiful chestnut mare here. Elista Hanover picks up that first win at the age of 4. She is now a 14-time winner in her career, and with the winner's share tonight, she gets closer to just shy of $800,000 in the bank. But this was a very aggressively driven mare tonight. Dave Miller thought he had the best, attacked the race as that being the case, and she stepped up here and delivered. Warwi Michelle, who beat her last week, she was the runner-up in here at a good effort as well.
You know, Rob, we were talking about changing the tactics and different tactics that different connections can maybe show in some of these preview races, some of these races in the lead up to some bigger races down the road. But at least the Hanover, maybe these connections learned something from the last race here, and they just said, like Gabe said, take the training wheels off, let's really go after it.
Yeah, this was the big dance for the 4-year-olds. This is a $425,000 race, and Elista Hanover wasn't going to mess around tonight. She took it right to them from the start, and she was really good. And you thought Warrior Michelle had dead aim at her at the 8th bowl, and that was a no-no.
Yeah, she did make that move, and she moved to the outside, and you're feeling pretty confident in your pick of the 5. The 6 ends up holding on. Alyssa Hanover, there's driver Dave Miller. The happy connections here. They take down $425,000. Here's Jess Otten.
Thanks, guys. Alyssa Hanover. That's a new stakes record. I didn't know if you know that, Purple. 2:03 for a mile and an added distance there. First and foremost, did you know she was sitting on that big of a mile after those last 2 efforts?
I kind of felt so, yeah. I kind of thought, I mean, the trip she went last week, I mean, pretty impressive, you know. And, you know, when Louis got around her, I was thinking about just tripping her out, but she felt so good, I went ahead and moved her. And she did it.
Added distance, bigger field, mare taking on the boys, change of tactics tonight like you just had mentioned, but she really couldn't have looked any sharper out there.
No, Annie's done a great job in getting her sharp, and she's a tough horse.
She's a beautiful horse, too.
Yes, she is very pretty.
One quick question before I let you go. Pappy's Pistol from the rail in that Meadowlands Pace Final. Good effort last week to get the job done in the prep. What do you think coming in tonight from the rail?
My plan is to get away as close as I can and just sit there and see what happens. You know, last week it got home really, really good, you know, and I'm hoping to have the same result.
Good job. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Jess.
There you have it. Alyssa Hanover and Hall of Famer David Miller get the job done in the Hamiltonian maturity for those 4-year-old trotters. It was a stakes record, 2:03 flat. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Jess. And yeah, you like seeing a stakes record go down with those impressive performances like that. You know you're the winner when you're walking back to the winner's circle just like that. It's Alyssa Hanover, impressive in track record time, stakes record time. Come on back. More America's Day at the Races and still that Meadowlands Pace.
Join us at Saratoga Racecourse for the 5th annual New York Thoroughbred Aftercare Day. This special live race day celebrates retired racehorses and fun for the whole family. Free with paid admission on Thursday, July 17th.
The official Saratoga Barstool Sports Collection is here. Check out the hottest styles of the summer. Shop this limited drop before it's gone. Get yours at shop.naira.com.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Winner circle time one more time here in the Hamiltonian maturity. Impressive performance once again, and we've seen it a lot. We've seen a lot of superstars continue to hold their form and really emerge, and that's what you want to see on nights like these, is that the the top favorites, the horses you expect to see right there, you want to see these stakes record type performances.
Yeah, 203 there for the mile and eighth, and Alyssa Hanover gets the support of the backers, and she was very well supported at the top board, and she proved it was well worth it. 480 mutual there, but she was very flashy.
Yeah, Gabe was talking about it as well, taking the training wheels off, and we see that, when you're getting a feel for how these horses are able to trot in some of these spots, and as they really start to get comfortable, they start to show some really strong form, you just say, okay, let's cut it loose.
Yeah, no, that was exactly what you wanted out of her, and she did everything they could have asked for.
Race 10 is going to be coming up here, William Houghton Memorial, and taking a look at another big full field here, 11 of them. Familiar names once again, and right now, favoritism is going to, guess who, that man, Dave Miller once again, Ken Hanover, the 9 at even money.
Yeah, Ken Hanover has been on a mission for the last couple of months here, just going right to the front and ripping around. He was super impressive in his hit half the Brower last time. So he's going to be the one to beat, and he's taken well-deserved support.
Yeah, by the missiles in there, you got Charlie May, you got a lot of those mid-range prices that we spoke about. Alyssa Hanover keeps your pick four a little chalky. Gabe continues on as well, but it's good to have us through halfway through those pick fours, but now we need a really big price, huh?
Yeah, we haven't ripped it up, so that's step one, but we need to get something here that makes it a little bit fun here. And this is a race that if you can get past Ken Hanover, maybe you can get something that's a little more exciting, but he's going to be the horse to beat, obviously. I think there's some interesting things to look at, though. It's a horse like Irvin Hanover, who's did all the work last week and now comes back into a spot where you might have a better trip.
Yeah, and you were talking about that one before the show. You really felt like you saw something in that last replay, that this horse did a lot of heavy lifting in that race. Kind of like Sabonis a little bit earlier on the card, and maybe a bet back, something to take a look at tonight. We'll see if this man right here gets his price home here, and race number 10 will be coming up. We're going to take another quick break and come on back. We've got plenty more to talk about. Why not talk about Carl some more, and of course, Nancy Tactor here on America's Day at the Races.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
We know that the horses are the foundation of this industry, but it's the people that brings us together. We need to celebrate the community that is horse racing.
The stories are amazing. The people that you meet and the love they have for this business warms your heart and renews one's faith in this industry.
I think this is one of the best things we've done in the last few years in horse racing, but it has to happen with somebody nominating an individual.
Ever dreamed of owning a racehorse? Well, now you can for free. Introducing freeracehorse.com, where you get a real share in a real racehorse at no cost. Be part of the action. Get VIP access to training, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and experience the thrill of the race like never before. Sign up now at freeracehorse.com and claim your free ownership share today. Don't just watch the race, own it.
The 100th Hamiltonian is so significant because it's our most recognizable race. It was started as a way to increase breeding and interest in the sport with a purse that was unheard of at that time. I think $73,000 was the first purse in 1926. And it just grew in stature, in prominence, and it's recognizable worldwide.
Carl Yannick Gingras and Nancy Tactor. He's king of the Hamiltonian.
You know, harness racing is really big in Europe, in France, Italy, Sweden, Norway, Denmark. So, you know, all those viewers tune in to watch it, especially since it's raced during the day. So that works for, you know, the time difference with Europe. One of the things that makes the Hamiltonian so special is the horse has one chance in their life to be a Hamiltonian champion. You're only a 3-year-old once, so if you're not good that day, you missed your shot. Whereas, you know, with a Breeders' Crown or something like that, you can come back in, you know, in the next couple of years and finally get yourself that title. I just think that, you know, you have that one shot to do it. The whole world's watching, and I don't know, it's just a really special, unique race.
And there you see Nancy Tactor talking about Carl, and it's always nice when you can get the big purses, of course, in some of these big races, but when you see these Hall of Fame connections and really see them going for it, you got to root for them. And there was just such a cinematic kind of dramatic effect with the rain that day, because no umbrellas, just forget it. Just enjoy this moment.
No, embrace it, and it's one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments, and Yannick was soaking it in, finally getting the job done, and that celebration the last few yards was really memorable, and one of those Hambo moments you'll remember really forever.
Yeah, really good Hamiltonian last year. The 100th, of course, is coming up on August 2nd. We've got a great race coming up here very shortly, but August 2nd, the Hamiltonian, look at that, 100. It's such a good, big, round number, too. Live from the Meadowlands, you can watch that Saturday, August 2nd on Fox. Make sure you check it out, and you're going to see a lot of these familiar connections that we are seeing this evening. Maybe we saw the winner here tonight. Meadowlands Pace is going to be coming up in race number 11, a little bit later on in the card. When you take a look at race number 11, Pappy's Pistol at 9-2. Then you take a look at Prince Hal Hanover at 7-2. You know, you go back to this July 5th race, and you go back to this effort. Pappy's Pistol comes out of there, Manolette, and then Captain Optimistic, who's a horse that's really kind of maybe going to take on the favorite role coming into the 11.
Yeah, he's going to be one of your top two choices between him and Madden Oaks, and these guys all prep together, and Captain Optimistic makes the front, and Poppy's Pistol just has dead aim up the inside, and Dave Miller takes full advantage of that rail opening up for him, and he looks impressive, and he looks fully loaded here as they get closer down to the wire. And then you had Manolette out in the middle, or up the inside following him. We'll see if they can, what happens tonight with them.
Yeah, field of 9 going in the 3-year-old pace. 1 mile will be the distance, $656,000. So a big, big purse in that race tonight. And, you know, you talk about a favorite being scratched out of there in Blueprint. And when you get that scratch, and this is something just from a connection standpoint, and we had Cameron Capone earlier with that interview, a young 25-year-old, and you could see that he's just saying, wow, if we won, this would just be incredible. So while you want to see those heavy favorites and those superstars, now you see a lot of opportunity here with a big purse. So we'll see what happens more. Meadowlands Pace coming up a little bit later on. Plenty, still more action here on America's Day at the Races. Come on back. We still got the pace.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest priced horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and stallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com.
Back here on America's Day at the Races, right up on post-parade time here. Race number 10, big full field here of 11. It's the William R. Houghton Memorial. Taking a look at this field here in just a moment as the Outriders, they are ready to go. They're at the Meadowlands Fast Track. It's been a very fair track, I think, throughout the evening, Rob.
Yeah, we've seen horses go wire to wire. We've seen a couple of closers win. We had our one big price. We've seen some of the stars really shine, so we've seen a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we've seen one big price. We'll see if we can get another price in here for you. Here's the one, Charlie May.
Charlie May coming off that fourth place finish in the Brower. He's a contender, though.
The 2 is going to be Urban Hanover, Louis Waugh at 11-1, one of those mid-range prices here that you can get. If you get this one home, these are the types that you really like to have on the ticket, huh?
Yeah, this is my top selection. Dave Maneri, sharp Canadian trainer. Louis-Philippe Waugh comes down in the bike. Did all the work in his half of the Brower. Was fourth in the Gold Cup, back 3 back. Had a wicked trip in the Camluck up at Western Fair. My man Sugar Doyle was having an absolute blast calling that one, but Urban Hanover was really a hard knocker here.
All right, here's the 3 Coach's Corner.
Coach's Corner third. Last time, he's another one that is in with a shot.
Fun Time Bayama, the 4.
Went to the back last time. He needs to get away a little cleaner today and get more involved.
Captain Luke and Todd McCarthy will team up here. Trainer Andrew Harris at 4-1.
Certainly a live contender as well. Second last time in the Graduate Series behind Sabonis, who we saw earlier.
There you go. Rock and Roll Runa, 99-1.
If you can make an excuse for last time, but he was 84-1, he's going to be a very big price.
Maximus Mickey, Andrew McCarthy, 14-1.
Had 2 wins into last time, was fourth in a decent effort, though. He's certainly a player here.
Time is on my side.
Another big price coming out of the Graduate Series. He would have to really flip a switch.
Dexter Dunn at 50-1. How about that? Ken Hanover is going to be at 6-5 as we've got something rolling by here really quickly. But there's Ken Hanover rolling by. Is going to be 6-5 currently on the board.
Ken Hanover might be rolling on by. He's been ever so hot. He's been very good of late.
The 10 is going to be no control.
Coming out of some condition races at Yonkers, he's taking a step up against some of the big boys.
And then towards the outside here, number 11, By the Missile, Yannick Gingras.
Yeah, By the Missile starts from that trailing position, third last time. Ronnie Burke and Yannick Gingras team up here. He was the favorite last time against Coach Stefano, so he is certainly a player. 9-2 on the board.
There is your field here for race number 10. We'll keep it rolling right here with this great team. And Gabe and Jess, they've got plenty more. 1 mile pace, today's 10th.
Really looking forward to the next division of the William Houghton Memorial. Gabe, I think maybe not the question mark, but the most anticipated horse in this race is Ken Hanover. How long can he stay this sharp? I mean, he's put together 4 or 5 really good efforts, winning efforts nonetheless.
Yeah, 5 in a row for him, Jess. And the thing is, those efforts start to take their toll after a little bit of time. He's got post 9 tonight. He was used extremely hard at his last win there. That was a couple of weeks back at the Brower. He went down the road that night, led every step of the way and winning in 147-4. Now post 9 against a good group once more. The key question is, how much are those efforts taking out of him? Can he come back with this absolute fastball tonight? Because he's going to need it against a very good group.
You went with Urban Hanover. Now, he put up that 120-2 first 3 quarters in the division of the Brower where Coach Stefano's picked up the pieces. He ended up finishing 5th, tiring a bit there. He's going to go back to a driver who drove him earlier on in the season in Louis-Philippe Waugh. It's a good post to work with. I don't think he's going to torch him tonight.
No, I don't think so either. Having said that, you need to get out of there and get some position because, again, we do have one in the second tier here. So he'll try and outfoot Charlie May off the gate. He has post 1. So I think Urban Hanover will cross over to the lead early. The key thing is here, how many other horses are going to be leaving the gate? I think, obviously, Louis Waugh driving the 2 Urban Hanover. The ultimate trip here is following the favorite, Ken Hanover. He's going to be pointed towards the top. If you could follow the favorite here, draft along, and try and strike late, that's the trip I'm trying to look for here. That's a very good price, very generous, in fact. I thought Urban Hanover would be 6 or 8-1 at best. Right now, just double digits. I think that's very fair value from post number 2.
Post 11 for By the Missile, 4-1 on him right now. I think they were going to put the blind bridle on him. It looks like he's got blinkers on, maybe to get him a little more aggressive. He was 3rd in his division of the Brower. Prior to that, he set a track record at Scioto Downs, 147-1.
Yeah, by far the richest in this race tonight. Just By the Missile, 6 years old. He's made over $2.4 million. Past Little Brown Jug champion. I just think the post 11 could be a little bit to his detriment. I think he could have to work up on the outer flow and that could ultimately be his demise. That was what harmed him, I think, last time. It was battling there on the outside. Ended up third, beating a couple of lengths. He's a contender, but we'll see what trip Yannick Gingras gets to map out here from a little bit of a tricky assignment.
I think it's worth noting, too, Captain Luke, he's been loaded with pace in his last three since that win at Woodbine Mohawk Park in leg one of the Graduate. Do note mention as well, 13-1 on the one, Charlie May. He was a winner in this event back in 2023. Stakes record, 145-4 once again by Bulldog Hanover in 2022. It's going to be a good one, I think. I'm really looking forward to seeing Ken Hanover race once again. He's 6-5 from post 9. And do note, number 11 starts from the trailing position. The second division of the William Houghton Memorial for the Open Pacers head behind the gate. Ken Workington has your call.
10th back upstairs to Ken Workington.
It's post time for race 10. They're at the gate. Preferred Equine starting gate is rolling. Second division, William Houghton Memorial, sponsored by VIP Internet Stable. $147,500. 6-5 on 9, Ken Hanover, shooting for 6 in a row. At 3-1, the 5, Captain Luke. 4-1, 11 by the Missile in the second tier. Race 10 starts at pick 5. Here they come. And they're off. Maximus Mickey had his nose on the gate. Captain Luke shoots out and goes for the lead. Fun Time by Emma, Coach's Corner, and Charlie May. They're charging 5 deep into the first turn. Charlie May takes the lead. Charlie May, Captain Luke goes after him on the outside. Coach's Corner on the inside third. 3 wide there, Maximus Mickey. Now 2 wide past the opening quarter. Fun Time by Emma, 5th on the inside. Then it's Ken Hanover. He's 3rd over at the opening quarter. Followed by the Missile to the outside. Then came Irvin Hanover on the inside, an early shuffle. Rock and Roll, Runa, and Time is on my side. Gapped at the back, no control. 26-3, opened it up 2 wide across the backstretch. Maximus Mickey being sent to the front. Captain Luke yields grudgingly. Right there on the outside is Ken Hanover, soon to be second. Riding his live cover is By the Missile, 4th on the outside. Charlie May shuffle to 5th on the rail. Irvin Hanover gets going on the outside, stride for stride, with Charlie Mays dropping back just a bit at the half. Then it is Time is on my side, stride for stride with Coach's Corner. The half up in 54-2. They're on the far turn. By the Missile fires his best shot now. And By the Missile and Yannick Gingras take off by 1.25 lengths. Ken Hanover left in his wake right now, second. Captain Luke is left on the outside, third. Passing 3/4, Maximus Mickey is pinned in on the rail, 4th. And Irvin Hanover lurking 5th on the outside, but needs to do more. Charlie May was shuffled back on the inside. And then Time is on my side, flips 3 wide, 1:21 for 3/4. In the stretch, By the Missile trying to polish it off, but they fan across the track. Dead aim for Ken Hanover on the outside, coming back, slipping on through. Maximus Mickey looking for a huge upset. Maximus Mickey accelerates, exploding late. Time is on my side on the far outside. Maximus Mickey upsetting over Time is on my side. Fun Time by Emma was flying late with Charlie May, 1:48.
Andrew McCarthy and Maximus Mickey get the job done. Didn't see the off odds there, Rob, but you saw right there with By the Missile, right about that point, the cavalry charge was on an almost a 99-1 shot, and Time is on my side gets up. Looks like about 14-1 on your winner, and so we've got some massive prices.
Yeah, no, if you have a piece of this, that you're going to get paid seriously. And what? Look at that. At the 16th hole, there was 8 of them across the racetrack. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, we were talking about some big, thrilling blanket finishes at the end of some of these races, and now we finally get it here in race number 10, and this was just... you know, with the pace setting up that way, what did you think of the pace? Pretty hot?
They got after it, and they were making moves, and the By the Missile move really ignited everything and really cooked it up and set it up for this exciting finish.
Gabe, and just more to that point, how about almost getting Dexter done at 99-1? Time is on my side, gets up for second there, but 7-8 there and a photo for third. Gabe with plenty more here on today's 10th.
Yeah, you just can't discount Dexter at any price on any horse, guys. But the winner here, Maximus Mickey, talk about a horse that got a little fortunate. He did make the early lead through those, tough fractions there. At the end of the day, Ken Hanover took over, and then ultimately By the Missile ended up on the lead. When you're sitting third on the inside with that outer flow to your outside, you have nowhere to go. Let's face it, you're going to have to get very lucky to win from what is almost an impossible spot. Well, he did get very lucky because at the top of the stretch, Ken Hanover decided to move to the outside. That left the inside open there, so as By the Missile was on the lead, horses by nature, as they tend to get a little tired, they start to drift out. You'll see By the Missile drift out, and that paved the way for Maximus Mickey to shoot through down at the inside. He needed every bit of that jump. He got on Time Is On My Side. Big upset here, 14-1. Prices across the board. I think the favorites just had to work a little too hard early on in this race. It blew it wide open here in the late stages.
Thank you very much, Gabe. And you do see the number 7 here, Maximus Mickey. Andrew McCarthy, Jess Otten with plenty more.
Thanks, guys. Maximus Mickey takes his second division of the William Houghton Memorial, equals his lifetime mark. Andy, walk me through the trip from your vantage point. You left, then you got shuffled a bit, then he just had clear room up the inside.
Yeah, that was kind of the game plan. I knew Ken Hanover would be pushing forward, and I kind of wanted to be the guy that was in front of him, working my way forward, and figured that would be the best trip for us. And look, in the last turn there, Yannick stepped on the gas pretty good, so just worked out that I got to run up the inside.
I know you've been a big fan of this horse. He's been racing in the overnight opens here at the Meadowlands. He loves this track. It's nice to see him get a shot and get it done against the big boys.
Oh, absolutely. I've always been a big believer in this horse. I actually had my choice between this horse and Oakwood Ardennes, so I guess it's a... That was last week, but I guess it's a pretty good spot to be in, you know what I mean? So I'm just super proud of him, and he's doing a great job.
How was he coming through the stretch? I know you tried that a couple of weeks ago coming up the inside. Dexter was flying at 99-1. I don't know if you saw that or not, but did he feel good through the wire?
Yeah, I seen him coming. I looked over and I went, come on, boy, just give me a little bit more. But, I was pretty confident once I got him up through there. He's so tough, this horse.
Nice job.
Thanks, Jess.
There you have it. Maximus Mickey equals his lifetime mark in the second division of the William Houghton Memorial. 148. Tom Cancellieri gets the job done as a trainer. Andy McCarthy just loves this guy, and he accredits all of it to him. Back to you guys.
Andrew McCarthy getting the job done there once again on Maximus Mickey. And you see another lifetime mark. So we are still continue to see top performances here because, as we pointed out, and Gabe pointed out, and Jess as well, that these are the top of their class. I mean, these are the horses that are at their best, and they know how to win some of these races. It just depends on the group they're in, but this was an impressive performance, and we got big payoffs coming too.
Yeah. These try and exacta payoffs are going to be very, very healthy, and Andrew McCarthy with a very patient, well-timed drive to get up the inside and not to do too much too soon, and it all kind of fell right into his lap, and he took every advantage of it.
Yeah, you do need By the Missile there to really tire and then kind of drift out a little bit because it opens up that lane, and you got to get lucky. It's racing.
Yeah.
Plenty more here, and we've got the Meadowlands Pace right around the corner. Big payoffs coming when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
Whether you maintain a food plot on the weekends, tend to a small herd of livestock, or work in professional landscaping, New Holland's family of Workmaster and Boomer compact tractors at Clinton Tractor can get the job done. Known for delivering outstanding value for their performance, these reliable, powerful, and easy to operate New Holland compact tractors will help you tackle your to-do list while being easy on your wallet.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
When the spotlight shines on the race, there's a team behind it, working before the world wakes up. They care. They sacrifice. They make it all possible. Best is here to care for them because they deserve the very best too. We support their health, their hopes, and their humanity. Best, behind every champion is a team, caring for the people who care for the horses.
Serving others is our foundation. That's why NYRA is building a pathway for businesses, individuals, and organizations to support charitable groups connected to horse racing in New York State and beyond. The NYRA Foundation, supporting our community.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit rtn.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Don't forget, you can always get involved with Naira Bets. Racing tonight brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. You can visit NairaBets.com or download the Naira Bets app to get started. There is the winner's circle as you take a look at Maximus Mickey, and you see another big price as we talked about here at 14-1. Payoffs are going to be shown on the screen at some point. They're massive, but this is what happens. You get a $1,200 exacta, $16,000 trifecta. Big prices, but Dexter Dunn, that's the one that really jumps out. $93 to place.
Yeah, if you're just riding Dexter and taking the shot with him and you're getting that payoff, or if you ended up getting any piece of that exacta or try, it was quite a score. It probably made your day.
And looking at the races, you know, we talked about some of the flow that we've seen in some of the hot pace up front, but we've just seen some very dominant performances. But now you see in a race like this, that balance, right? Because you're able to get some of those closers home because they just can't withstand that kind of pressure.
Right. It's set up for chaos to really happen, and that's what happened. And I'm sure there's a few guys and gals out there who are really having a night because of that. And we're going to look for one more chance with it, with the Meadowlands pace coming up. But what an effort there by Mickey there. Maximus Mickey.
Yep.
And so we'll see what happens coming up next, but that payoff is still just...
Yeah, I think that's one of those where you got to check the ticket a couple times. You're like, wait a minute, is that, do I have the right numbers there? So we got a big payout in the trifecta. Race number 10 is wrapped up, and of course we got race number 11 just right around the corner. And this is going to be the big one. This is going to be the Meadowlands pace, of course. $656,000 is that purse. Take a look at a field of 9 in there. Madden Oaks is currently 4-1. Right now the bettors are trying to figure out where they're going to go as well. Pappas Pistol is currently 2-1. Dave Miller inside, but big favorite out. We kind of expected to see this.
Yeah, we without the presence of Blueprint here, I wasn't sure who it was going to end up being. And Poppy's Pistol's taking all sorts of action here. But I think
do you agree with it though? I mean, do you think 2-1?
I like him. I didn't see him being 2-1. I thought he'd be closer to $8 here, but he's been very impressive, and he might have just needed those first 2 starts.
Yeah, I think you know, after a big trifecta like that too, maybe some of the bettors out there, the players out there, just kind of regroup and find themselves. Madden Oaks, you talk about that effort, and looking at the July 5th race here, as we're going to take a look at first. Manolette, and you talk about Captain Optimistic, Pappas Pistol, and we saw this replay, but these contenders coming out of this race, is there anything that jumped out to you is going to move somebody forward? Because right now, Pappas Pistol is 2-1.
Yeah, and you take a look at him here, and Captain Optimistic's in front here, and he's done all the work to get here, and is being well asked by Dexter, and just leaves the rail open for the top 2 finishers to come up the inside here. Poppy's Pistol, though, look at Dave Miller. He's got a good hold of him, and he's full of energy through the wire here. Doesn't it look like you that he's looking for next time?
Yeah, and maybe also the familiarity, right? He was from the 1 post position that night. He's going to be the 1 here tonight again, so you kind of try and maybe work out the same trip, just this time for $650,000.
Yeah, Dave Miller already been in the winner's circle once here in our coverage, and wouldn't be shocked to see him do it again.
Here's an interesting question for you. We saw Blueprint the favorite, and we saw going back to that race and looking at that victory. But Madden Oaks was a big long shot in that effort. This is going to be the most recent effort here at Tioga Downs. You're taking a look at this effort, winning by and drawing off by 2 3/4. Does this really stamp this one as a strong contender here, even from the outside at 4-1?
Yeah, he's going to have to do some work from the outside, and this is what he's supposed to do against conditioned horses and against older horses, but he was much the best at his home track at Tioga. His North American Cup effort was fantastic, though. To be that close from Blueprint, from post 10, starting from the outside on in that race, and how fast they went. That was the fastest 3/4 ever in the North American Cup, and he was still around to say something at the end.
Yeah, and he was a big number that day. Sometimes I get a little worried when they're a big price there, and now all of a sudden they're a favorite because people saw that effort. But when you're behind Blueprint, that's pretty respectable that you're going to see the price drop like that. 4-1 seems pretty fair right now, Madden Oaks.
Yeah, I think he's a very logical play here at 4-1. I think he's going to be forwardly placed here. Braxton Boyd, we saw talking to the trainer earlier. Paul was talking to him, and they were holding their cards close to the vest, but I think you're going to see a big effort from Madden Oaks. He's a lightly raced colt who's really starting to come into his own.
All right, we're going to find out what happens here in race number 11. It's the Meadowlands Pace. It's what we've been looking forward to. And no Blueprint in this race as the favorite. Did scratch out of here. But I just, you start to see this wide open race, and I think it really presents an opportunity for some of these other connections and some of these dryers. And even you take a look at a horse like Prince Hal Hanover and Todd McCarthy, the driving duties in here, and coming off of a second beaten ahead last time, but, off of this effort, way out in front. Actually, that's going to, that July 5th effort. What do we take from this when you're so far out in front? Is there any chance Prince Hal Hanover is going to be this far out in front of this field?
I'd be surprised to see this same trip. Jody Jamieson had him out there on the front end that day, and he just got a little leg weary late against some nice older horse that's going to come get him, and was even money for a reason. So it wasn't like he was beaten by some enormous long shot. So Prince Hal Hanover, 1 of 2 in the race for trainer Ian Moore.
Yeah, he does get run down there. They do get that long shot there in that last race. But Gabe and Jess, we've talked about it plenty. The Meadowlands pays $656,000. Still plenty of opportunities. How do you guys see this race going? It's a big one. Looking forward to it.
I don't know, Gabe. I don't think I can predict how this race is going to go. I think there's a lot of question marks coming into the race, and not bad question marks either. I just think with the scratch of Blueprint changes the complexion in 2 ways. The way the race is going to shape up, and the betting, of course.
Yeah, of course it does. It makes it a more wide open race. I think Mad Oak's going to be leaving there from the outside. We also have a couple of variable changes, guys, that we may have not hit on yet. Captain Optimistic, who was coming off a little bit of a disappointing effort last time out. I think he had an open bridle. They raced him in last week, and they're going to close him up tonight. They said he just wasn't paying attention on the front end. The crowd, everything sort of got to him. So that's going to be curious to see how he responds to that equipment change. We've also got a horse like the 6th Fallout. He adds the therapeutic medication Lasix for the first time to maybe clean up some of the issues that he had. So interested to see if a couple of the variable changes make a difference in performance here for some of the headliners.
Yeah, we heard Nancy Tactor earlier on here on the broadcast. Last week, it didn't look like Captain Optimistic was himself. He shied from just about everything. And she said he's been here 100 times. That's not like him. She had zero idea what had gotten into him. So that's what they're going to close him up tonight, make him focus on his work, and really hope for a little bit more in this stretch. And like you had mentioned with Fallout as well, they're going to add Lasix there for the first time tonight. What about Manolette? Bruce Saunders trains the first crop of cattle wash here. Scott Zeron's going to do the driving once again. He was quoted last night in saying, if I'm close enough at the 3/4 pole, I think I've got any shot, as big of a shot as anybody in the race. He loves the Big M, and I think he's going to do quite well in this race because we've seen the versatility now in him.
Yeah, post-8, that's the one concern I have with Meadowlands. Scott Zeron, 36 years old, the money man. 3 Hamiltonian trophies, yet to win the Meadowlands Pace. Bruce Saunders, veteran trader, he's been around these parts for a long time. He just missed with Rock and Roll Heaven a little bit over a decade ago. They're back together here with a live one, trying to team up for either his first career win here at the Meadowlands Pace. Loaded last time, finishing up the inside, but the trip did work out very nice. I think that he's a little bit at the mercy of the pace. If we see a crazy pace scenario like we had the last couple of races, I think Meadowlands comes directly into play. The one thing about it, no one in the bike more patient than Scott Zeron. I think he'll be looking to trip him out as best he can. You see the public up there touching him a little bit right now, 9-1 there from post 8.
You see that guy on your screen? Well, that was Todd McCarthy. He drove Prince Hal Hanover as a 2-year-old. He's going to sit behind him once again tonight. Now, he was beating that effort in that prep race up at Woodbine Mohawk Park and against older horses, but it was another North America Cup elimination winner in Light Up the World who gunned him down late in the stretch. I think he needed that tightener, obviously, after that mile went and missing the North America Cup. Right now, he is 3-1 on the board.
And that's a horse that I'm going to give a slight edge here. You see, it's a wide open betting board, and this is going to continue. You're not going to see a prohibitive favorite of this race. I think the money's going to shift around a bit. I'm, still a little bit curious who's going to end up, but there's a favorite. But I do like the 4 Prince Hal Hanover. We took a look at that replay back at his last start in Canada. Yes, he did get gunned down on the type, but that was just a very good effort. He was pacing a back half there, 53-2. It's unfortunate that he got caught, but he didn't do anything wrong. He was just against a very good horse that night. So I'm not going to hold that against him. Dr. Ian Moore, he's got a pair in here with the 4 Prince Hal Hanover, also 7 Joel and the Jets. Well, he did win the Meadowlands Pace, Jess. That was several years back now, but that was with the disqualification. The year Charlie May crossed the line first. He got placed first with Lawless Shadow, so he does have a trophy, but he's never crossed the line first. He's looking to break through tonight as well.
What about that lukewarm 2-1 favorite from the rail, Pappy's Pistol? He won that prep race last week. David Miller was confident in him. Never drove him before, but he's raced against him. He liked this colt. He had all good things to say about him earlier. He sprinted on 25-4 to get the job done last week. What do we make of him? I mean, he gets the rail to work with once again tonight. You know, obviously with the scratch of Blueprint, which has been the storyline, it makes it more wide open. And, you know, David said he's going to give him a shot again like he did last
Well,
week.
I'm sure he is going to give him a shot. But here's the thing. First crop here, Pappy Rob Hanover, world champion. So this is, you know, colt in his first crop. And Dave drove Pappy Rob as well. So sort of a cool story to see him on this colt tonight. I think the trip worked out just so perfect last out, Jess. We watched that race back a little earlier. And I typically tend to try to bet against perfect trip winners. Odds are the trip's not going to work out that perfectly once again. So, you know, for my money, does he have a shot? Yes. Do we think things are going to go, you know, fall into his lap as they did last time? That's my concern. I just think, you know, favoritism status a little too short for a horse that really didn't do much work last time.
Exactly.
He got to track along, and when it opened up, he was able to explode through with the late stages.
You know, if David Miller gets the job done, he could be the oldest to win the Meadowlands pace. I won't give away his age, even though it is public knowledge. If he gets it done, he could be the oldest to win the pace. I think he's been in it 24 times. He got the job done with Courtly Choice back in 2018. Let's talk about Madden Oaks now. I think this business is all about opportunity. How cool is it to see two 25-year-olds and Cameron Capone and Braxton Boyd line up behind the gate?
One thing about it, the stage is not too big because we saw that replay earlier in the Pepsi North America Cup where he came up just a nose short of Blueprint. So they've been on a big stage before. Braxton, unfortunately, gets this outside post once more, but I think it's just going to be a same type playbook, Jess. You have no choice. When you have post 9 here, you do not want to get away that far back. He has got to utilize Madden Oaks' early speed. I'm curious to see if he's going to be the horse on the lead or if he gets to let someone else go and he drafts along. I think he would like to take a trip drafting. I think it's a little bit to his detriment if he ends up the one on the lead. I think he could get a little tired in the late stages, but I do think if he gets to draft along, he's got a very live shot here, again, in what is an absolute wide open Meadowlands pace.
You know, a lot of eyes were turned in that North America Cup eliminations when he went 3 wide past Fallout up the backside. And I said to Braxton in an interview earlier this week, what was going through your mind? And he said, I hope I don't embarrass myself, and I hope this works out. And it did. He obviously tired there at the bit, but that was a big move he had to make there, Gabe. And then to come back in the North America Cup final, no one was leaving the gate except for Swingtown. So Braxton said, I can't believe no one wants to leave going for $1 million. I'm going to leave. It obviously worked out well for him. But going back to this colt at the age of 2, he was actually in a Breeders' Crown elimination, scratched. Then they opted not to come back with him anymore. And I think that was key for this guy growing up into his 3-year-old season.
Yeah, I think it's done him a lot of good this year. But as we talked about a little earlier on the broadcast, how quickly things can change, Jess. He was better than 50-1 in the North America Cup. Well, all of a sudden here, a few weeks later, he's going to be one of the logical contenders here right now, sitting up there on the board at 4-1.
All righty, we'll send it back to the desk, and they're going to walk you through the post-parade of the $656,000 Meadowlands Pace Final.
Thank you very much, Jess and Gabe. And you saw the drivers pretty loose there, feeling like they're going for $656,000, but these competitors all know each other and did a little T-shirt toss, engaging with the fans. Very nice to see that here leading up to a big race like this.
Yeah, everybody having some fun with this, and it's a big night. But it's what you strive for. It's what you work day in, morning in. Like, this is what everybody points to.
Have you ever caught a T-shirt toss when somebody tosses a T-shirt?
Yeah, at a Manitoba Moose game back when I was about 8 years old.
Clean catch?
Yes,
No.
for the record.
Deflection.
Stole for my sister.
All right, $656,000 is the purse. Meadowlands Pace here is going to be the field. The number 1, Pappy's Pistol right now. 5-2 lukewarm favorite. That's the one for Dave Miller.
Yeah, it comes off a win in the prep here locally. It's been lightly raced this year and maybe is moving forward.
Poppy's Rocket's going to be right next door. Yannick Gingras, big price at 39-1.
Coming off a couple of efforts at Yonkers, going to be a big price here, but you do get Yannick Gingras and Ronnie Burke teaming up.
And then Andrew McCarthy, we've got the 3 here, 55-1. It's going to be knockout round coming off of a 6 last time out.
Another one that's going to be a big price here, still a non-winner of 3, 6th last time in the local prep.
All right, one of the ones getting some respect, and you're starting to see the board really kind of go back and forth. And Prince Hal Hanover is the 4 off of that second we saw in that replay.
Yeah, you get Todd McCarthy in the bike for trainer Ian Moore. Second last time behind a horse that really closed well, but as Gabe was saying, nothing to hold against Prince Hal Hanover here. Very live shot. Had no chance in the North America Cup.
All right, we'll see if maybe the pace setter in this upcoming Meadowlands Pace does have some speed. The 5 is going to be Captain Optimistic, and you see trainer Nancy Tactor. You see driver Dexter Dunn. 4-1 right now on the 5.
what did we say earlier? Don't forget about Dexter, and here he is. Can't forget about him here. He's 4-1. You're not getting 99 again, but Captain Optimistic, a big shot this 3-year-old colt by Captain Treacherous.
All right, one we did hear Jess and Gabe both talking about was Fallout. Tim Tetrick, 4th last time out, beaten 2 lengths, but here is the 6 at 5-1.
It was 2-1 last time against a number of these. Kind of been a little bit quiet here, but Gabe and Jess brought him back up, and he certainly merits a lot of consideration. You're getting a nice square price here at 5-1.
Louis Wah will have the number 7, as we do get a couple long shots here, but this is a big long shot. Joel and the Jets currently at 60-1.
The second for trainer Ian Moore in the race here. Really couldn't withstand the early pace in the North America Cup. Backed out of it to finish 10th. Came back in the local prep, was a little bit better, but would have to take a step forward.
Definitely hearing a lot about the North America Cup because you see a lot of those contenders here. Again, a big purse coming up. Number 8 is going to be Emmanuelette. It's going to be Scott Zeron will have the driving duties off of a second.
Yeah, he followed Poppy's Pistol last time. Got a nice trip up the rail. Scotty Zeron here in a big money race. What else could you ask for? A nice square 10-1 price, and if they get a little too aggressive, he certainly could be a bit of a factor.
And then one towards the outside here, and this is kind of the story that I kind of see developing a little bit here when you start talking about the youngsters and the young generation of the sport. 25 is pretty young, and you talk about Cameron Capone, the trainer, Braxton Boyd, the driver. Madden Oaks has a shot at 7-2.
Yeah, and he was great last time at Tioga, prepped perfectly coming in. Cameron Capone was nervously excited earlier when he was talking to Paul, and this is a big shot here for these 2 young upcoming stars, and Madden Oaks, a very live player.
All right, field of 9 getting set for the Meadowlands pace, and Paul Verderosa's got Nancy Tactor with plenty more.
Joined by Nancy Tactor, sends out Captain Optimistic, and I know it wasn't the greatest of trips for this horse in the North America Cup, but I still thought that he ran respectively when he finished 4th in there. Last week he was on the lead. I just feel like better effort tonight, right?
I think so. Obviously, the North America Cup was a really tough trip. You never saw the rail at any time in the mile. So I guess he raced well considering the trip. But last week I thought he maybe should have fought a little bit better down the stretch. He's really not a front-end horse. He likes to have a target. We closed him up this week. He has a blind bridle on instead of the cheek rolls, so he's hopefully going to be a little bit more straight and a little bit more focused.
Looking for a helmet probably to sit off of, right?
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the driver's job. Unfortunately, when I put them on the track, that falls out of my control. So, but, you know, if he could get, even if first up trip is fine, you know, just as long as there's horses in front of him to track down.
Okay, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. And there was trainer Nancy Tactor, and she's looking at Captain Optimistic, maybe cautiously optimistic. She says hopeful and some of the different things with the trip, but she's got the right driver aboard there with a Dexter Dunn.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for anything more. Looking for that target and should be able to find it in here. He was odds on last time against a number of these. Now you're getting a much better price at 4-1. There's lots to like here.
Yeah, the drivers, as they're getting ready for this Meadowlands pace as well, you think a lot of decision-making going on right now, like kind of thinking of their strategy in their head? I mean, they were looking pretty relaxed going to the paddock, but now it's kind of game time, right?
Yeah, everybody's getting those last bit of warm-ups in, and they know what they think is going to happen. But as we all say, when the wings roll back, it's going to be whatever happens, and it's a just on the fly kind of game.
Yeah, we might see the number 4 in Prince Hal Hanover send. There's just plenty of different strategies and plenty of different options coming up. Wonder if Gabe and Jess have a little bit more input here on some of that race flow. You know, do you guys kind of get that too? Like, are the drivers really hunkering down and thinking about what they're going to do in this 11th race with a big purse like this, or they're just gonna focus on their own race?
I think right now they're focusing on how their individual animal is feeling. You know, in this score down, it's pretty obvious. You can kind of tell what drivers are almost thinking. If you see a horse scoring down aggressively, like we just saw Pappy's Pistol doing, David had him right up on the bit. Gabe, you see a couple others of them pretty relaxed. That could just be by character as well. But I think they're just focusing on the individual, thawing them out a little bit, making sure that they're not too erratic within these first final minutes.
Believe me, these guys have played this this race out in their heads over and over and over, depending on, who left, what position they'd like to be at. Everyone's just trying to get their horse in the right striking spot to get the very best finish they can. And Jess, you just alluded to the one note I was going to offer. The one thing we did see here was Dave Miller on the one Poppy's Pistol scored down really aggressively, buzzed that horse really fast into the opening turn. That tells me we're going to see an aggressive steer tonight from post 1. Otherwise, I think the 9 Madden Oaks most certainly leaving. So, the bookends, I think, are going to step out of there quickly. But believe me, at the end of the day, they're not going to be the only ones out here looking for early position with a signature race like this. I mean, this is a stallion-making type of race, one of the biggest races of the entire sport of harness racing each and every year for 3-year-olds, the Meadowlands Pace. So this is really the biggest stage you can get in the sport of harness racing.
Let's dive in a little bit deeper, Gabe. Your top choice is Prince Hal Hanover. He's 5-2 on the board right now. He's coming off of a front end try at Woodbine Mohawk Park. He got gunned down there. He was really good in his North America Cup elimination. He was really good in the Sun Beach Somewhere. What are your thoughts on this guy?
Typically shows early speed. It'll be interesting to see what Todd McCarthy has in mind, but I think he comes into the race just fine. He got beat by a very good horse there last time in his prep race by a head, but he still raced a very good mile in that effort. Up at the North America Cup, he just had no shot. Post 9, got away 10th. That's just a recipe for disaster. I think after that conservative trip with the big money in the lineup in Canada, Jess, this is the next big dance. So that tells me the connections were likely not happy with getting away so far back. That's why I think Prince Hal Hanover will be heard from here in the earlier stages.
Madden Oaks, post 9. He's coming off a good tightener at his home track in Tioga Downs. Braxton said, I would rather have a target. It's just a matter if they can be manageable. He looks pretty good right now, calm-wise, I guess.
Yes, and you wonder how his driver's doing out there as well. Braxton's just a great kid, 25 years old, well-traveled, Jess. He's from Michigan. He's raced on circuits in California. He's been in Minnesota. He's been in South Florida. He's been here on the East Coast. So for a young man, 25 years old, he's sort of seen and done it all at this point. This will be his first time going behind the gate in the Meadowlands Pace, but he was certainly up to the task in that North America Cup when he came up a no short. I just think, a lot of pressure in this situation. Up there, the North America Cup, you're better than 50-1.
Yeah.
Tonight, you're a much better chance. You're going to get a little more respect here, I think, if you leave out of there with Madden Oaks.
I think the betting board's really good right now.
Let's see. If you have a strong opinion, you can tee off. That's the good news. No one here is going to be, an overwhelming favorite. Prince Hal Hanover, we see slightly getting that nod right now. I'm not even sure if that'll hold. I think, some money's just still going to come in on the 9 Madden Oaks. Poppy's Pistol flirting with favoritism here as well. Captain Optimistic, as Paul just caught up with trainer Nancy Tactor, a slew of equipment changes there. That all makes perfect sense. By the way, Dexter Dunn on the bike there as well. We talk about what a run he's been on. So I think there are just a lot of different ways you can go. It's going to be a great race here coming up.
24, the 48 Meadowlands Pace winners have been favorites. The stakes record just came last year, 146 and 3 by Legendary Hanover. Lukewarm 5-2 favorite right now on the 4. That's Prince Hal Hanover, 1 of 2 for Dr. Ian Moore. Field of 9 goes behind the gate in the Meadowlands Pace final. $656,000 on the line. Ken Workington, Hall of Fame announcer, has your call.
Preferred equine starting gate is rolling for the field of 9. 5-2 on the 4, Prince Hal Hanover. 3-1 on 1, Pappy's Pistol. 7-2 on the 5, Captain Optimistic. 4-1 on 9, Madden Oaks. They're set. The field of 9, the Meadowlands Pace. Here they come. And the Rob, Prince Hal Hanover and Captain Optimistic get the first call. Pappy's Pistol fires hard from the inside. Knockout Brown just floated away in 4th. Madden Oaks is 3 wide from 5th. Fallout is 6 between horses around the first turn. Then comes Knockout Brown, followed by Joel and the Jets, stride for stride with Manolette at the back. So it's Prince Hal Hanover. Todd McCarthy sets up shop there. Here comes Madden Oaks sweeping up on the outside for Braxton Boyd. Off a quarter, it was hot. 26 seconds across the backstretch. And it's Madden Oaks taking over after 3/8. Madden Oaks. Prince Hal Hanover back in the second spot now. Pappy's Pistol is gapped in third. Prince Hal Hanover looking to retake command as they head towards the half. Pappy's Rocket on the inside, 4th, staying in. Captain Optimistic goes uncovered. Tracking him is Fallout to the outside. Then comes Knockout Brown and Manolette, and Joel and the Jets is the trailer. So the target is Prince Hal Hanover off a half of 54-1. Prince Hal Hanover. Captain Optimistic takes aim, first over on the outside, second. Madden Oaks locked in the box for now. Fallout is second over, 4th as they round that far turn. On the inside, it's Pappy's Pistol in 5th with no racing room. Manolette setting it up from 3rd over, 6th on the outside. Then it's Pappy's Rocket. Joel and the Jets on the outside, and Knockout Brown trails at 3/4, and they're going at it there. Prince Hal Hanover, Captain Optimistic. Madden Oaks needs racing room, and Fallout is lurking. 1:21 and 3 into the stretch drive of the Meadowlands pace. And it's Prince Hal Hanover in front, surging late on the inside and coming hard and trying to squeeze on through. It is still Prince Hal Hanover. Madden Oaks in the inside second. Prince Hal Hanover does it for Todd McCarthy. Then Madden Oaks, then close. Pappy's Pistol or Fallout, 1:47 and 4.
Trainer Ian Moore, driver Todd McCarthy was run down last time on the replay we showed. Didn't happen tonight. Prince Hal Hanover, number 4, takes down the Meadowlands pace.
Prince Hal Hanover gets the money, sets a new lifetime mark in a very impressive and a very gutsy win, holding off Madden Oaks, who was trying to come up the inside. What a victory by Prince Hal Hanover.
Yeah, very game in victory there. Prince Hal Hanover, because Madden Oaks did make that move down towards the inside. Looked to really have a shot, but Prince Hal Hanover holds off this rival. Gabe Pruitt, you're there trackside. Prince Hal Hanover takes the Meadowlands pace.
What a gutsy performance here, guys. And the inquiry sign is up. I thought things got a little tight by the top 2 through the stretch drive. We'll have to see what the judges are taking a look at here. But Prince Hal Hanover just digs in and guts it out almost over the 9 Madden Oaks, who got a very similar trip as he did in the North America Cup. He was trying to squeeze through that at the inside. Very tight quarters there. I got to know things got very tight momentarily. So we'll try and check out what this inquiry is about. But this ended up being a 2-horse race. Very good trip here from Madden Oaks from post 9. He didn't have to work hard to make the lead. He got covered up, but it was Prince Hal Hanover who ultimately took back over the lead and had plenty enough. Now, the judges are taking a look here. I do believe it concerns your unofficial winner. We're getting word on track. You see some of the fans starting, a little gasp came through the crowd. Prince Hal Hanover. No, here's an odd note for you guys. If it is indeed on the winner, Prince Hal Hanover, Doc Ian Moore, his only win in the Meadowlands pace, that's the trainer of the 4 Prince Hal Hanover, was by disqualification in 2021. He was put up when Charlie May was taken down. Now the tables have turned. He crossed the line first. We're going to have to settle this inquiry before it goes official.
Thanks, Gabe. Yeah, that tight shot, you definitely see something take place there, and there's an inquiry up on the board right now, and it does involve your unofficial winner here, the 4 Prince Hal Hanover.
Yeah, it certainly gets tight, and you can see Madden Oaks have a lot of momentum, and all of a sudden he's not quite gaining at such a rate, and we'll have to see the head-on and see what we can see there. And
yeah, this is going to be a huge decision here. An inquiry, $656,000. Trainer Ian Moore, you heard Gabe Pruitt speak about what happened between the 4 and 9. And you know, when you talk about the actions there, and we saw that tied-up shot, when you see movement like that, of course, and kind of the 9 was stalling because we saw that kind of winning move. That we kind of saw it the same way, right?
Yeah, and this is honestly the same move Madden Oaks tried on Blueprint in the North America Cup, and here's the head-on for you, though.
Yeah, it definitely gets tight down here towards the inside. There is contact there. I mean,
the judges are going to look at it. We'll leave it in there.
Yeah, this is one of those where the drama is definitely here. A very tight finish, and now this is really a judgment call, right? Because you do get, there is contact, right? I mean, you take a look at the wheels do touch. The number 4 holding off the number 9 towards the inside. It gets real tight down here. Is it maybe Madden Oaks maybe coming of a hole that wasn't there? Maybe that's kind of the judgment there. I don't know. We're not the judges. I don't have to make this call.
Yeah,
for $650,000. Right now, unofficially, Prince Hal Hanover, Todd McCarthy. Second going to Madden Oaks, Braxton Boyd. Judges, and there are the tense moments here because now we are starting to look at the replays, looking at the head-ons, looking at the different views, and we see this plenty in our sport as well. Jess, she's trackside. Jess, please help us sort this out a little bit because what is going on with the top 2 here in the Meadowlands pace?
Man, I'm glad I'm not a judge in this scenario, guys, just because that's how tight it can get. It's literally down to inches. You touched on it. Madden Oaks had all the momentum up the inside, and there was room for him. And then Prince Hal Hanover kind of ducked right into him. You could see in that head-on, it looked like he nicked his front leg just a little bit, put in a step, and came back down pacing. And I don't know what they're going to do. I'm glad that's not my choice there. We're awaiting official results. I know that there's no horses lingering around back there. I can see that. So I'm assuming Braxton and Todd McCarthy are back talking to the judges to get this all sorted out. I'm kind of shaking right now because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm sure you guys could hear me in New York screaming for Braxton Boyd, but I guess we're going to wait this one out. Hopefully they make a decision here soon.
You heard Gabe Pruitt talking about that this is one of the biggest races in the sport here of harness racing, and now you do get the drama. This is a drama-filled race now with the inquiry. Right now, you know, from where I'm sitting, it does seem like the 9 has a case to make against the 4, right, from our seats. But again, the judges have to make a very difficult decision here and kind of try not to think about, you know, the magnitude of the race, right?
Yeah, certainly it's down to what happened on the racetrack, and the judges see hundreds and thousands of races, and I'm sure seen this scenario before, but we'll see how it plays out. But it was definitely tight down in there.
Yeah, maybe the rule stating exactly what should happen in this scenario, but you do see Prince Hal Hanover, and we heard from Jess Otten as well that she said, you know, looks like he ducks in just a little bit there. Braxton Boyd, it's tight down there. It's definitely a tight hole that he's trying to run through, but that he's trying to pace through, excuse me, but with $650,000 we're talking about, again, you got to do it. You got to try and make that run.
Yeah, you had to try to get up there. That was his one chance to win. And think about Cameron Capone and Braxton Boyd, 25 years old, sitting here sweating it out here. We're sweating it out right now, and we got nothing on the line. Think about them right now.
Yeah, and you don't want to hear in one of these, you know, don't worry, you got plenty more ahead of you. It's like, no. We want to win this one here tonight. It's a tough decision for the bettors as well, because they're yelling at the screen the same way we are too.
And Prince Hal Hanover took all the late money, ended up as the favorite and prohibitively, and Madden Oaks drifted up to, I believe, 6-1. So there's some people rooting here who have tickets, and I'm sure there's some value in that as well. So lots of anxious moments here.
Yeah, unofficially right now, 4916 is that result. You see the light on the number 4. So definitely taking a look at your unofficial winner of the Meadowlands Pace and Prince Hal Hanover, a race that had plenty of action throughout the flow of the race. Prince Hal Hanover, you saw, bet down to 7-5. Really performed impressively. But the late stages, though, there's definitely something where maybe the 9 can make a case, and the 4 is just hoping that they stay up.
Here we see it again, and right about there, just for the briefest of seconds, and it's certainly, as he was making that final charge, and it was going to get real close, and the judges are taking a look at this as we are.
And contact as well, right? We talk about contact sometimes on the thoroughbred side, plenty, but you take a look at the contact, you talk about the wheel and the front leg of the number 9 in Madden Oaks towards the inside. You can see the moment. I mean, visually, you can see it on the screen here with the head on. It's a great shot of what takes place here, and the judges are taking a look at this same vantage point as well. It's just their call. It's in their hands, and this is what they are meant to do here for the sport, is to make these tough decisions.
Yeah, and this is a job I certainly don't want to have. And Prince Hal Hanover corrects. Todd gets him corrected back over after they get tight there for a second. But it is that one moment getting close to the 16th pole, and you can see both of them coming really down to the wire, and just how close it was.
And even Madden Oaks action just kind of changes through line. I mean, it just changed everything in the final stages of a massive race. You can see the connections here are talking to one another, because if you're Prince Hal Hanover's connections, of course, you're just kind of conversing back and forth and hope we stay up. It's a big